Oh, hi. Thanks for joining today. I've mentioned it before, just how much I love those I don't know, they could be infomercials, regular commercials, they could be uh God, and does this generation even understand what an infomercial is? Infomercials were a major part of media in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and not today. But it'd be somebody out there maybe trimming the hedges. Doo, 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 doo. Then they turn around and go, oh, hey, have you ever wondered about life insurance? You're like, what? It's the person that's being filmed. They've got a camera crew and a lighting crew, but they were unaware until that exact. Oh, hello. Hi, thanks for joining today. I need to do some cold opens, like a whole series of those. Hey, Jamie, put that down on my list of shit to do. Do a whole batch of cold intros, cold opens, like on Saturday Night Live. The cold open intro. Anyway, thanks for being here. This is the TNAM Daily Show. Yes, the Senate is refusing to pass the SAVE Act. GOP is awful. Why are they terrible? I did invite President Trump to join me on a show to ask why hasn't he been removed? Why is the GOP sabotaging his agenda? What is going on? Doesn't it only take 5 people to nominate that he's removed? What in the world is happening? I don't know. But I can tell you, Eyepatch McCain is gone. So is Jasmine Crockett. We'll talk about it. David says infomercials killed time before Sunday afternoon movie. Oh man, the Sunday afternoon movie. Yeah, you had the Saturday morning cartoons, the Sunday afternoon movies. I'd say a time before cable, but cable was well around in the 80s, 90s. My dad was just too cheap to pay for it. He was thrifty. He was frugal. He was busy putting a nice home roof over my head. So, maybe I didn't get some of the bells and whistles, but he did a good job on some things, Very appreciative of that. But no cable. I used to go to my friend's house. I'm just like, can I binge all the content? I just want to watch all the things. I don't get any of this at home. I would ride across town on my bike to watch Beavis and Butthead at my friend's house. The 80s and 90s, mid 90s. Gotta love it. Maybe the best time in human history. Pre 9/11. That's a big deal. No live stream on Rumble. Why is there no live stream on Rumble? Thank you for telling me. We're having a problem on Rumble today? I have it queued up. Recording is in progress, it says. Dems shut down Homeland Security, tariff trouble. It doesn't show that it's up. You're right, doggone it. Why? It says live. I am so tired of these streaming quirks, man. Yeah, it says it's streaming to custom RTMP, but I'm not seeing it either. Jamie, can you check into that, please? Good grief. Yeah, Rumble's an important thing. I keep clicking. Why is it not going to the channel? It is not showing it. Okay, well then I guess let me... Oh, doggone it. I don't understand the issue. It shows me that it's streaming, but it's not. All right, well, I guess what I'm going to have to do is play the intro and try to cancel this. Oh, now I'm being asked for other things too. Doggone it. Okay. Anyway, John, I want your update on Texas. How we doing? Tell us how happy and how frustrated you are with what's happening / not happening in Texas. I'm going to play the intro. We're going to do this show. All right, let's talk about the news. TNAM Daily Show begins.
Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.
All right, everybody. I am launching a new feed on Rumble, getting the streamer configuration, going over to add a channel on Restream, going to RTMP, going to the RTMP URL. I'm going to copy paste. Then I'm going to go back over here so I can get the stream key. I'm going to copy this, go over to custom RTMP stream key. I'm going to paste. I'm going to add the channel. Let's see if that adds a new Rumble stream. Now it says offline. It's just showing offline. Sending data. Hold on. What's this? Sending data. Okay. It says it's streaming. So let's test Rumble, everybody. Thank you for the heads up. Yeah, I appreciate when you guys are following us on multiple platforms so that you can alert me. Eyepatch McCain. It says upcoming, but it should say streaming. All right, I see Lori can't clap. Oh my gosh, Lori can't clap. I'm going, what does that mean? I go, oh, wait, I did that. I mean, I didn't create that meme, but I did share that with you. Lori can't clap. Oh, goodness. Well, it says it's allegedly streaming, but I'm just seeing the intro to the show. I'm not seeing the... It's just playing the New American Media. Is anyone seeing the feed itself? I swear, every day it's something. Okay, now it looks like it's live. Fake Nate Morris. Yeah, that is exactly the advertisement I got. They love telling me I need to vote against fake Nate Morris. He supported the BLM riots. Fake Nate Morris hired Obama's top advisor. Fake Nate Morris signed a pledge for supporting DEI. Not surprising, he backed Nikki Haley over President Trump. Fake Nate Morris, fully woke and full of shit. That's the ad I get every day. I was like doing the meme. I'm like squinting to look at that, and I'm like, don't at me, bro. Don't at me. Okay, so things are back up and going. Thanks for being here. Let's pull up chat onto the screen. It's already been an eventful couple of moments. Oh, but of course, look at how stupid this is. Restream does this. I have to go to overlay. I have to go to all settings. Oh my God. It's so exhausting. Background opacity, change it to rounded. All right, now it looks sort of normal. My graphics aren't right. I need to edit my theme. Every time I do a show, it resets my theme and my graphics and my settings. Every one of my... Imagine getting into your car and every time you had to adjust your seat and your radio and your presets and your windows or your mirrors. Oh, is it so annoying? I'm ready to switch out of Restream for real. Not a huge fan. But we'll put this up on the corner of the screen, the TNAM Daily Show, the New American Media. I didn't really give you a proper intro. Yeah, those ShamWows are great. Did you ever see the ShamWow parody? Oh, can I even share that? I would love to share the ShamWow parody with you. Oh, I guess I would search my videos. Let me see if I can. We're already off on a tangent, people. Hit like, hit subscribe, please. All right, we're doing this. We're gonna hit reset. This is gonna be a palate cleanser for the weirdness of the show. I'm the one that brought up infomercials, and this is it's got to be top, right toward the top. But this is the ShamWow parody that I love. Hopefully, they'll let me get away with this. It's just a commercial. There shouldn't be copyright on a commercial. All right, here we go. ShamWow.
Hi, it's Vince from Scam Now. You're going to be saying, holy shit, I got ripped off every time.
This is Vince from Scam Now.
Hi, it's Vince from Scam Now. You're going to be saying, holy shit, I got ripped off every time you use this towel. It's like a chamois. It's like a sponge. It's fucking retarded. Use it gay or straight. Or use it on crime scenes, animal guts,
Use it on crime scenes.
animal guts, dolphin jizz, or poop on your RV. ShamWow holds 20,000 times its weight in liquid. Look at this. Heavy as a fucking rock. I'm so strong.
I still quote that all the time. I'm so strong. I still quote, I'm so strong.
I'm so strong. Dispose of it in someone else's laundry. German Nazis used to use this stuff, so it's gotta be good. Cut it in half. Step on it. Put your ugly dishes on it. Jerk off your dog. Idiots use this every day. Look, no different. Roll up your grandmother's sweater in this. She'll never find it.
She'll never find it. She'll never find it. I haven't watched this in a long time.
No different. Roll up your grandmother's sweater in this. She'll never find it. Here's some blood. Shit. Piss. Vomit. Not only is this illegal, there's your mildew. Yeah, I just puked in my mouth. Okay, now we're gonna do this real time. Look at this. Find some menstrual chunks, flip it over, roll it up, wring out half your ball sweat, save it for soup. Punch it like you're punching a midget, you little bastard.
Save it for soup.
Flip it over, roll it up, wring out half your ball sweat, save it for soup. Punch it like you're punching a midget, you little bastard. Cause nobody likes midgets, right? You follow me, asshole? See what I'm telling you? Virtually dry on the bottom.
I love how he can be virtually dry on the bottom.
See what I'm telling you? Virtually dry on the bottom. Scam wow, you lose money every time. It's like crack. I'm so high.
Oh, I can't eat another bite or I'll
I can't eat another bite or I'll barf.
I'm so high.
Oh, I can't eat another bite or I'll bust.
If you're gonna wash your ass, your dick, or your balls, you'd be out of your fucking mind not doing this. All I can say is, sham fucking wow. You could spend $1 on this paper towel, or get the mini sham, clean up dog semen, bloody dishes, or zit juice off the mirror. Slap your nuts with this, or this. I don't know. Sham wow.
This is so good because he sounds so much like him. Whoever's doing the voice, it sounds so much. You can hear him punching in and punching out. Because this was from like 2000 or something, 98. I don't know what year.
So for $19.95, you get one for your nutsack, one for your ass neck, and two for power tool accidents. Call the next 20 minutes, because we can't do this all day. You get a second set of this worthless towel for $19.95. That's 8 sham wows and a 10-year warranty. Look, if you don't buy this, I will kill you.
What year was this uploaded? Okay, 16 years ago. So hold on, that was from 2010. Okay, this still a classic. Anyone watching in 2026? All right. Well, for no apparent reason, we started our new show with the sham fucking wow guy. Hello, David. Lake Leon, everybody. Let's get you up in chat. Now we've had a palate cleanser for our morning technical issues. It's always something, isn't it? Please hit like. Please hit subscribe. Share the show with a friend. Get out of the comments. Hit the thumbs up button. Make sure that you let the algorithm know that this is a show worth watching. Copy the link. Share it with your friends. Let me put this up on the screen as well. If you enjoy the show, please consider supporting the show. We're on Patreon. You can sign up to be a monthly subscriber, as well as you can do that on Rumble and YouTube. You can drop Rumble rants and Super Chat tips. Those are always appreciated. If you want to shoot something over on Venmo, I did have a friend request on Venmo the other day. That was this morning, last night. I approved a friend request on Venmo. Okay. One of you in this chat might have been that person. Cypress Hill, I'm looking in your direction. So, yes, you can shoot something over Venmo or Cash App. That's just my name, Brian Engelman. And, of course, PayPal. That's fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com if you'd like to support the program. Got a lot of stories to get to, allegedly. What a weird beginning to the day. And it's okay. Well, okay. That lady was loud. I said she was the one that sounded like she was putting a gypsy. All right. How many? Let's see. Where is our? All right. I think that's Jamie. Jamie, next time have all the stories pulled up for me in the right spot. Okay. Let's get this going. Show's officially going to begin now. Did you see the supermoon? It was all cloudy where I was, so I couldn't see it, but I saw Mike Barra share this one. This is the blood moon, supermoon up over top of the pyramid. This is the Luxor Casino and Hotel in Las Vegas. Very cool. Tell me your supermoon, blood moon story. This for Kenneth. Is Kenneth in the house yet? I didn't see him. It's the 3/3/26 blood moon over the Luxor pyramid at 3:33 a.m. Dun, dun, dun. Won't happen again for thousands of years. Oh, okay. That's a pretty cool image. I don't know who this person is, so I'm not going to follow him. That's a great image. Another one that I shared from Mike. By the way, we'll be coming up with another episode with Mike Barra, Jim Mitchell, Ezra L. Robinson. We'll have Strictly Football, free agent, combine, NFL draft shows, Strictly Football, brought to you by the Unhappy Hour on the New American Media. Mike shared this as well. I thought it was good. Up in the top left, that's a pentagon. Top right, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-sided. That's a hexagon. Bottom left, that's 8-sided. That's an octagon. And then over here, it's the, what is that, a B-52? The stealth bomber? Is it B-52? B-2? B-50? I'm not an expert on my... Jamie, look that up for me real quick. Stealth bomber is B-52 or it's B-2? But in the shape of a stealth bomber, the beef... What's it called? B-2. Yeah, okay. The B-2 bomber, that's an Ayatollagon. Pentagon, hexagon, octagon, and Ayatollagon. If you look up and see a B-2 bomber, they call it a Freedom Dorito. Well, that's pretty interesting. Baby. What's this? Sharing you some memes here. Let's go through this. Here's Homer with his eyes bugging out under the covers. Normies trying to sleep after they realize that their conspiracy theorist friend isn't a conspiracy theorist after all. Do you have anybody in your life that you used to think was crazy? And then you sort of come around on and go, oh, okay. See, I've always been the crazy guy. So like it wasn't my friends that were like, you're kind of out there. I was always the guy that was out there. I'm like, I'm not making this stuff up. And there's been a lot of things I've at least been open to consideration on. And I've gotten plenty of things wrong over the years. But as new information comes in, you adjust your way of thinking. All right, what's this? Do we need a new crusade or no new wars? Yes. This seems to be the new meme if you're monitoring the situation. Alcohol will do this to you. Weed will do that. Cocaine does this. And monitoring the situation makes it way worse. Oh, there's Jacob Frey. Remember when he was crying at George Floyd, I believe this is? So the libs are just crying over Ayatollah Khomeini. I thought they were all about Me Too and protecting women. That could have been the worst thing ever. By the way, I think John just jumped off of the top rope with a double elbow on Venmo. I salute you, sir. Much obliged. I just saw that roll through out of the corner of my eye. I'm always monitoring the situation. Hold on, let me go back. This is me. I'm always monitoring situations. And across one of my screens, I saw a very generous, appreciated donation from John. Thank you so much. That is fantastic. Appreciate that. Hit like, hit subscribe, everybody. Share the show with a friend and be like John. Man, that's awesome. We need more Johns, people. Wait, I thought we're trying to reduce human trafficking. I think we need fewer Johns, don't we? Not the good Johns. So we can keep the good Johns, but get rid of the bad Johns. How about that? Yeah, libs are just weeping over Khomeini. I thought they wanted to protect women, but that brutal regime that he's quoted as saying, if a woman's convicted of something, they need to R them before they execute them so they can't go to heaven. Just brutal anti-woman stuff. Any lib that's siding with the Islamic supremacists, it's a non-starter. We have to filter those people out of the conversation if they can't recognize that Islam is not compatible with women's rights, and you're just going to team up with that side to bludgeon Republicans for some temporary political gain. No bueno. No, not that John either. Not a turlet. Not a Dear John letter. Now, here you go. Here are the awfuls, the angry white female leftists. And yes, I'll include the dudes wearing the pink pussy hats for believe all women, me too. Unless they're talking about Islamic supremacists who are R-ing and K-ing women for the crime of being R'd by monsters. They'll get in trouble for having awful things happen to them. Nope. We're going to support Iran now. Trade in your Palestinian flags for Iranian flags because we don't know what the fuck we're protesting. But if it's against Trump, we're in. Grow up, ladies and soy boys. What is that? I don't get the reference. Here's how British people feel looking out their rainy windows, watching America liberate Iran from radical Islam, wondering why couldn't they do that to their own country? They've been overthrown. This meme might be my favorite. Look at that pack of cigarettes. It's got the Iranian flag on it, that like the old shitty flag. Trump got 34 felonies, 3 baby mamas, been shot, and kidnapped a sitting president. He's running our government like death row records from the 1990s. Little Marco over there. That exasperated, oh God, this again face. Big, thick gold chains. Pistol Pete Hegseth got cornrows in. And JD, I think, has a grill in. Trump with a bandana smoking a pack of Iranian cigarettes with big ice on his necklace, 47. That's pretty funny. Trump with 34 felonies, 3 baby mamas. He's been shot and kidnapped a sitting president. He's running our government like death row records from the 90s. Why is this? Here's Marco Rubio showing what happened to Iran's Navy today. He's got an aquarium with all the ships underwater. All right.
You rule.
All right.
You rule.
Keep it moving. Yeah. By the way, your friendly reminder that on this program we sift through meme dumps because I find one thing that I want to share. There might be others, and there might be others that I did not want to share because we're adults here. You know how President Trump shared a 59, 60-second long video about Georgia election fraud? And then their auto reel played something after that was a Lion King parody with all of the faces of all of the top 20 political faces in the U.S. government.
I can't believe Trump shared that. He's so unpresidential.
Do you have no idea how sharing things works? You're not in charge of the things that are up there that you don't intend to highlight. You know, I was just talking about Tropic Thunder. Izzy's never watched it. I'm like, we're watching Tropic Thunder. And I got a copy of it, and I put it somewhere. I got to figure out where I put it. I've been meaning to rewatch Tropic Thunder for the first time in 20 years. I know. I'm like, look, just because I share something doesn't mean I support that thing. How many great offensive jokes were in the Sham Fucking Wow parody that I played? Things I totally forgot about. Because we're adults, okay? And we don't play the gotcha game anymore. Can't believe that shit used to work. Anyway, moving on. All right, so who is this Coons here? I don't have his first name, and I forget. He's a dopey Democrat. But here he is talking to the Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, asking a very odd question. What an odd thing to say.
Rule out the deployment of ICE or CBP to polling places this November.
There are no plans to have ICE officers at our polling locations. And
I'm glad to hear that, but would you rule it out? Would you say it will not happen?
Do you plan on illegal aliens voting in our elections, Senator?
You rule out the deployment of ICE or CBP to polling places this November.
I think for a national security issue, we need to check qualifications. We know what the Democrats have been doing to steal votes. We know it. We all know it. We all see it. Guess what else we all see? For countervailing views on health and elections, because Google, YouTube, Facebook, Meta, Instagram will tell you 2020, and yeah, it was the most free and fair election in the history of elections. Go to cdc.gov, who.int, or cisa.gov/rumor control. Go get your countervailing views. Blah. What an odd thing to say. Well, we just want to make sure you're not going to put ICE at the polling places so that our illegal alien voters that we swear that don't exist, we're super concerned now that you might stop them from voting, but they would never vote because they don't exist. You know that thing that you say keeps never happening? Well, it happened again.
There are no plans to have ICE officers at our polling locations. And
I'm glad to hear that, but would you rule it out? Would you say it will not happen?
do you plan on illegal aliens voting in our elections, Senator?
You rule.
Yeah, she's representing Americans. He's not.
You rule out.
But hold on. If
Scott Jennings continues to be the only voice of reason on CNN.
bombs dropping on the nuclear program and destroying them last year didn't help move forward those objectives of deterring the regime, why do we think that suddenly this is going to do the same thing?
Because the people who weren't deterred are now dead. That's
Yeah,
number one.
but this is Iran.
That's a pretty solid answer.
Those people are dead, but there are other people. They've got plenty of people, Scott.
I agree with you on that.
Plenty
of Ayatollahs.
There's no indication.
7 layers deep on
we are 72 hours into this.
You're making a good case for this.
There's no indication, as we sit here tonight, that there have been any political changes in Iran. So my question is, if bombs dropping a year ago didn't change it, what is the rationale for thinking that bombs dropping today are going to change the actual political dynamics on the ground in Iran?
Well, look, you're asking a broad question about justification and what we intend to do with these guys over the long term. The justification is, A, we had a huge problem with the ballistic missiles, and we did believe that if Israel, according to the Secretary of State, attacked, and they intended to attack, that our bases were going to be targeted. They were not willing to absorb that attack, so we attacked. That is what the Secretary of State has said. You can agree with it, disagree with it, but that is the justification. That's number.
So that justification has launched a barrage of, well, does this make it sound like Israel led us into this? Look, I sort of hear what they're saying. If you're gonna, so let's just play this out. And I think Matt Walsh made a good point. It's like for MAGA to say like, oh, we've always supported this bullshit. No, this has never been a party platform. It's never been a policy position of the Trump administration. Now, are they making the case now? And are you willing to grant your commander-in-chief a little bit of leeway to run some operations because he's perhaps the only commander-in-chief of your lifetime that has seemed like he's been on the side of the American people? I can understand that perspective. I can understand the people that say, no, Trump is BB's bitch, right? No, nope, we're doing the bidding of Israel and we're getting involved in these forever wars. The same thing President Trump told us all those decades long that we shouldn't be doing, blasting Obama, blasting Bush. Why? Now we're doing the same thing. We're doing the bidding of Israel. This is not right. I can understand that perspective. In between those could be where you say, look, the case is being made. Now, let's look at it pragmatically. Having stopped the nuclear facilities, that would be the time to then go in and take out the regime. It's not as if that's our responsibility, though, and I can appreciate that perspective. But if you do take out the nuclear facilities, the time to finish taking out the trash would be once that's done. If you give them time to rebuild, you've sort of done it for nothing. I can understand that. You can look geopolitically and say, well, you know, we don't need to be spilling American blood on foreign soil. Yes, I appreciate that perspective 100%. But you can look at the larger geopolitical strategies at play. The Cuba, Venezuela, Iran. I mean, shit, Ukraine, we just put somebody in there with Victoria Nuland, Barack Hussein Obama, and Joe Biden 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever year that was. President Trump has been in office for a year of term 2. The deep state chicanery, tomfoolery. Actually, I'm going to jot that down. If you watch my show, chicanery, tomfoolery. I jot down interesting phrases. I have narco polo, cornucopia kaleidoscope, and hullabaloo rigmarole. We'll add chicanery, tomfoolery. I don't know. I'm just a bit of a wordsmith. I like word salad. Reconfiguring the power structure of the planet. These are lofty goals. Along with these come massive risk. We don't want to get locked into some forever war. Never get involved in a land war in Asia. Okay. Or a land dispute or a land war. I can understand it, but look, there are many bad actors at play. I don't fully understand the rationale why we went in. I admit that. He's a bad dude, evil dude, a demon. Please go back and check out my show from Sunday. Let me see if I can pull this up on my channel. We'll go to live. It would be right here.
Subscribe is how you stop.
Okay, that's a commercial I didn't ask for, but I appreciate having commercials on my YouTube channel since they were gone for 5 years. Here, let's just pick up at a totally random point. This is Mahmoud Ghaffari talking about Iran. Totally random point. Let's see if he makes a good point.
That, and you know, the poor chap paid for that with his life during the revolution, where he was executed, for lack of a better word.
And Mahmoud grew up in Iran, and he fled at 18 years old. I met him in Los Angeles, and we brought him in to discuss the situation. Every Iranian that I know is absolutely thrilled, over the moon, ecstatic, completely thrilled with what's happening. Just absolutely appreciates what President Trump and the United States have done to get rid of that, what he calls a demon. But let's let him talk for a second. I encourage you to go back and watch this episode. We do the deep dive.
So that's just in a quick bit, my relationship with at least my family's relationship with the Shah. And then, of course, during the 1979 revolution, our high school was closed down. I used to go to an American high school. And because of that, we had to emigrate out of the country, went to Europe for 2 years, and then was fortunate enough to be able to come to this country, and I've been here for 44 years, and I wouldn't trade it for anything else. Nothing. I'm so appreciative to be here as an immigrant, and I'm so appreciative for the opportunities that was given me. And I hope every Democrat or every immigrant of any country realizes that what we have in this country and what the rest of the world has. You may think things are bad here, but
I think we're playing revolving chairs on which feed is going to pause. Anyway, but check it out. We go into a deep dive about what Iran means to people who lived through it. It's not our battle to fight. But then again, the commander-in-chief looks at the global scenario. There's a lot of stuff going on. Why is President Trump concerned about Venezuela, Cuba, Ukraine, Russia, Israel, Palestine? Why is he concerned with Greenland, Canada? Why? Because that's his job. We don't have access to all the information. And so there's a lot of valid perspectives at this point. I think where I land is, I obviously was leaning more toward the Ron Paul era of non-interventionalism, America first, pseudo America only. America only is just like that's fun to say, but come on, that's as fun to say as like the communist Marxist drivel that will get you in class envy, hating people that are successful. They're the reason I'm not doing well. You can scapegoat anybody. You can scapegoat anybody to be the cause of your problems. The Bolshevik Revolution, you can blame any group that you want. But it's very short-sighted to say America only, because there's no such fucking thing. Can we just be adults for a second? There's no such thing as America only. We're all connected. The stuff that happens with the narco-terrorist in our southern border. Well, why were we going into Mexico? Why'd we kill that narco-terrorist? Why were we playing narco polo? Do you have any idea the amount of human suffering that's happened? The human trafficking, the slavery, the child abuse, the stuff that's been happening in America through our southern border because of the narco-terrorists? You're damn right that's our problem. And the Marxist government up at our northern border is a problem. A lot of things that are Europe being invaded in an Islamic supremacist invasion is a problem. Problems somewhere or problems everywhere. I don't want to overextend ourselves, and I'm being cautiously optimistic. I am fingers crossed hopeful that Pistol Pete Hegseth, judging based on the Venezuela size, scope, and swiftness of the operation, that maybe something similar is what we're going to watch in Iran. Every single time they fire a missile, that lights up on the bingo board, and those targets are erased. The entire Navy is at the bottom of the sea. This is less than a week. World War II, this stuff lasted years and years and years and years. And Iraq, Afghanistan, not everything has to be a forever war. So I'm just going to give a little bit of leeway to the commander-in-chief, the guy that has been getting a lot of the big things right. I'm not all out on him. I'm not going to say he's a puppet of Netanyahu. I'm not going to say he got caught up in the Epstein trap and this is all blackmail and we're doing the bidding of Israel. I understand the concern. I 100% understand it. Can anybody confirm that to be true? No, you can say he looked suspicious, and he's like, "Are we still talking about? We're still talking about Epstein. It's fake news. There was nothing there." You see Bill Clinton, you see Ghislaine Maxwell, all the key players. They're like, Trump had nothing to do with this, or they're just saying that because they're trying to curry favor. And if they play ball, maybe Trump won't lay the hammer down, drop the hammer down. I don't know. But in the meantime, a son of a bitch demon is gone. Everybody who knew that situation in Iran. It's interesting. Iran, the Iranian Islamic supremacist demonic regime, had been in power for 47 years. And then President Trump, president number 47, took them out. But there's plenty more to go. Nothing's done. Like we can't count our chickens before they hatch. We can't declare victory yet. But there are many valid opinions here. I'm not here to shut anybody down. Someone played for me some Nick Fuentes talking with Alex Jones, and trying to be realistic, and they're no longer optimistic, and kind of getting black-pilled and frustrated and throwing in the towel almost. And Fuentes saying, "Oh, go vote Democrat." It's like, fuck you, buddy. The same guy that said, "Oh no, America had great relations with Muslim nations until Israel," because like that famous Jenna Marbles skit. "Oh, I spilled my food on the floor. Thanks, Obama." Positive pregnancy test again. Thanks, Obama. "Oh, my dog took a piss on the carpet. Thanks, Obama." The Nick Fuentes is, we'll just throw a dart and go, "It's the Jews who did everything, and they do everything." There you go. I played a clip of that dude saying America had great relations with Muslim nations until Israel in 1947 or 48 or 47. What year is it now? I'm confusing 47 with President 47. I'm going, the fuck are you talking about? A couple shows ago, I played you that clip. And some commentator, I apologize, I don't know who it was. He's like, "Yeah, have you heard of the Barbary pirates, the Islamic Barbary pirates that were enslaving all of the crew of these boats? They were hijacking them on the 7 seas. Thomas Jefferson had to create a navy just so we could take out the Islamic supremacists that were destroying and abusing us, because they destroy and abuse everywhere they go." Okay, Nick Fuentes, relations were really great until Israel. Thanks, Obama. That's my scapegoat for everything in life. Thanks, Obama. There's a lot of perspectives. I'm not taking the black pill. I'm not going to do it. I'm not. Am I frustrated with a lot of things? You're damn right. You're good. You're GG damn right. I am frustrated by some things. John Thune still being in that role that he's in. The one where they're not putting President Trump's appointees into office. They're opening the sessions just so they can close them, so they can keep. The GOP is blocking Trump from getting his agenda, from filling the is it the judicial appointments? It's not cabinet positions. It all starts to blur together. They're blocking their own president. John Thune needs to go. I am frustrated. Where are the arrests? The grand conspiracy we heard so much about. Where are the arrests? How many years must we wait? I'm frustrated about a million things. And I see that several American servicemen and women have been killed in this conflict. And you say, "Oh, it's unconstitutional. Trump didn't declare war." Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we haven't declared war since World War II. We know this. Coming up on 100 years ago, 80 years ago, the War Powers Act of 1973 grants our commander-in-chief the ability to do limited action strikes, to conduct operations. When it goes past a certain scope, I mean, confer that with the Gang of Eight. The Gang of Eight is like the high-ranking congressional seat holders. And they say there's way too much at risk to just tell everybody, because you could have leaks and it could compromise the integrity of the mission. But the Gang of Eight, it's like we're keeping everybody updated on what's going on. There is authorization for this. There is precedent for this. You can disagree with how the court ruling said in 1973, the War Powers Act gives the commander-in-chief that power, but that is the operating system that we're operating under. Was I a little bit more screamy and annoying when Obama was doing it? Yes, because that dude was playing for the other team. You'll never convince me otherwise, and I'm allowed to hold that perspective and that point of view. Who flew pallets of cash to the Iranians? That was Barack Hussein Obama. That wasn't Donald John Trump. Are you kidding me? Who evacuated Afghanistan in such a fucked up manner that you gave all of that advanced weaponry? American lives and other lives were lost. And you surrendered that massive facility that it took all of our blood and treasure to build? That was Biden, which, by the way, was Barack Hussein Obama's third and most honest term. So if we're gonna clutch our pearls and clench gnash our teeth and clench our fists, could we maybe calm the fuck down for just a little bit, just a little bit, let them cook. If you're playing a game of basketball and they're making every shot, pass it to them again. Keep shooting until you miss. There's no universe where military operations are going to be casualty free. Nope, he missed. Americans died. That's blah, 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 blah. War is hell. You know what else is hell? The stuff that Iran has been up to for 47 years. They've killed roughly, how do you even begin to figure out the actual number? More than 1,000 Americans butchered by Iranians since they stole their country and turned it into an Islamic supremacist hellhole. They started the war through their proxy, Hamas, in Gaza. That's been causing all of those problems for 2-3 years now. They've taken and held and paraded and embarrassed American soldiers. The whole Jimmy Carter weakness, where the barracks were overrun. We've had a bone to pick with Iran for a long time, and they've been saber rattling and causing problems for a long time. So as Matt Walsh says, let's not pretend all of MAGA was in favor of this from the beginning, but it's okay to change your mind as well. I don't know that I've changed my mind about interventionism. I'm not going to say that. But in this case, you've been watching. One of the biggest drug lords in Mexico, boom, taken out. Hey, you know how much less fentanyl is killing our citizens? How many people, raise your hand, tell me in the comments. How many people in your life, friends, family, neighbors, coworkers, that you know that have been killed, that have died from fentanyl poisoning? Oh, no, he overdosed and he got, no, he was poisoned. Oh, no, he shot up and shot up too much. No. He was given poison that was masquerading as a drug. He was given pure poison. And that shit's coming up right through Mexico. No ramifications, no repercussions. We are reconfiguring the planet. Gulf of Mexico. This is the American continent. It's the Gulf of America. I don't mind some of this stuff. Now, I don't want to go take Canada or Greenland by force, but holy shit, have you seen Canada lately? Have you seen what they're doing? They're being invaded just like England is, just like Europe is. That's our neighbor to the north. Down neighbor to the south, narco cartels are allegedly running that country. You're telling me that's not our problem? We don't need to get involved. Well, they've involved us by their actions. I'm just saying, there's a lot of perspectives here. So there was my my opening monologue that got derailed by the Sham Wow guy and the Rumble Tech issue. So thank you for letting me circle back. I pulled a Jen Psaki and circled back on that one. Sarah Pearson 5539 says, I think about the boy in the movie Ender's Game, who said to prevent further conflict, the bully needs to be knocked down so he doesn't get back up. Paraphrased. This is an excellent movie. I've never watched Ender's Game. Let me put it on my radar. Novel by Orson Scott Card. 1985 military science fiction novel. It was a movie in 2013. All right. It's on my radar. Thanks for sharing. I pulled it up. I'll keep the tab open. Maybe I'll watch the movie, or maybe I'll keep the tab open until I have to run a hard software update. And then it does a hard system reset. But yeah, these are the bullies. Come on. And the believe all women, Me Too crowd. Shut the fuck up bashing Trump about this and say thank you. Because if you want to break humanity down in a binary 50-50, male, female, the stuff that Iran has been exporting, the terror and the abuse that they've been exporting on women, the problems they've been causing the globe. This is a happy day that motherfucker's gone. Just a very happy day. Have you ever lived in a neighborhood? Let me ask you that too. Have you ever lived in a neighborhood where you've had a real bad actor that's made everything bad for everyone else? Super loud. They're getting into fights. People start shooting, vandalism, graffiti, theft, all sorts of problems. And you know exactly where it's coming from and who the bad actor is. HOA president after HOA president just ignores it, and you see it and you know it, you identify it, but you're kind of like, whatever. And then somebody finally has the balls, the cojones to finally do something about it. Maybe I can relate to that. You're damn right I can relate to that. I have an appreciation for people that aren't going to put up with abuse. So I'm just saying, let's be cautiously optimistic, perhaps. I've really started adopting the maybe so, maybe not approach on things. Not everything. But on this one, I hope there's clearly defined goals, and I hope those objectives are met. I hope it wraps up soon. And I hope a transitional government is put in there by their own people that's going to be much better than what we had. Lake Leon asks if I like that you're using my terminology, by the way. I haven't heard anybody else referring to him as Pistol Pete, but to me, that's the obvious nickname for this dude. And I'm not saying that Pistol Pete Maravich wasn't around for many decades prior to Pete Hegseth, Director of War, Secretary of War. But I will say, it's an apt name, especially with the speed of Venezuela. No, I did not. Did I see Pistol Pete this morning? Lake Leon, if there's a specific quote you want me to see, tag us on X. We're at American_media_. Everybody, please raise your hand if you're following us on X. If you don't, can you take 3 minutes and just go to x.com, enter your email, pick a handle. It takes you 2 minutes to set up an account and follow the New American Media at American_media_. It really is the place where you get the news these days. But Lake Leon, if you have one, a specific clip from Pistol Pete, I will gladly share it on the show. Just tag us on X. Let's get back to Scott Jennings talking about what occurred in Iran and what it means.
Number one. Number two.
Oh, I stopped Scott Jennings and did that rant there because Israel said, look, we're doing this. We took out the nuclear sites. We're going after them now. They've been temporarily weakened. We're doing it. And the U.S. is like, if you do that, we're going to be targets. Of course, we made ourselves targets because we moved our flotilla over there. So pinning it on your big brother for what you showed up for the fight, you got brass knuckles on. Well, my brother said he's going to go get in a fight. Like, I got to support him. Bro, you're already there with you showed up to you guys are teammates. So it seems kind of weird that Marco's trying to kick it to Israel. They're like, well, they started it. They're the ones. Iran started it. They've been causing problems with everybody the whole time. Oh, Lake Leon saying it was the whole thing, like a whole press conference. Well, let me get to our X feed. We'll keep going through our Instagram if I shut my yap and just let the stories play. And we'll go through the X feed and see what I had. I probably have some Hegseth stuff in the stack.
You think that makes sense? You think
Well, I think it's pretty obvious that the Iranians are not shy about firing ballistic missiles across the region. I was in Israel last summer and watched many of them in the sky.
Where do you
above my
stand,
head.
Scott? Are you for this invasion or not? You seem to be dancing around the question. Do you think this was a good idea?
No, I'm quite for it.
And you think that was?
I think these butchers deserve to die, not just because of the missiles, not just because of the nuclear program, but for 47 years, Josh, they have waged war against Western civilization, against the United States. Their mantra is death to America. They have killed American soldiers, American personnel. They have maimed people, our people. And so if you want to go back decades or you want to go back 2 weeks, there's plenty of reasons to believe that those people that we killed being gone is good for U.S. national security. That's my view. I'm mourned, by the way, and we should say the loss of the U.S. servicemen who I think died in
and if President
a
Trump
noble
makes
cause.
a deal with the next guy down in the IRGC and says, okay, just like Venezuela, we'll have the Chavistas without Maduro, we'll have the IRGC without the Ayatollah. Are you going to then switch and be like, oh, that's great, we're just going to do a deal with the Ayatollah, successor, and the next Ayatollah, and the next IRGC, and you're just going to switch and be like, okay, we're fine with the regime because Trump said it's fine?
The president said his objectives are, and I think these are worthy, they're not going to have the missiles, they're not going to have nuclear weapons. If whoever becomes the next leadership in Iran says, okay, we're tired of being punished for missiles and nuclear weapons, that would be a good outcome that I think we would all be happy about.
Well, hold on. If bombs dropping on the nuclear...
All right. So that was Scott.
Hold on.
John Kirikow answering CIA questions.
Does the CIA listen through our phones and laptop cameras? Yes. I hate to say it. There was a dramatic leak in 2017 that the CIA came to call the Vault 7 disclosures. Gigabytes worth of documents leaked by a CIA technology engineer. What he told us was that the CIA can intercept anything from anyone, number one. Number two, they can remotely take control of your car through the car's embedded computer. To do what? To make you drive off a bridge, into a tree, to make you kill yourself and make it look like an accident.
Michael Hastings.
They can take over your smart television and turn the speaker into a microphone so that they can listen to what's being said in the room even when the TV is turned off. God knows what else that they can do that hasn't been leaked. Does the
Whew. Yeah. Might be time to go back to some dumb technology.
Does the CIA
Oh, God. Here's a terrible story. Let's see the extent of what this is so I don't have to repeat it if the news story tells you.
This is a 12-year-old boy we're talking about. We're going to leave him in jail and put a life charge on a young man, a young black man that was visiting Miami. It was with the wrong two kids.
Marvin Jones's son, Josiah, is charged with battery and false imprisonment, charges related to the rape of a 12-year-old girl. A police report says the victim says his son, Josiah, held her down and put rocks in her mouth to stop her from screaming.
This is a 12-year-old boy we're talking about.
Held her down and put rocks in her mouth to stop her from screaming while another boy arred her? And this dude's trying to make excuses?
We're going to leave him in jail and put a life charge on a young man, a young black man that was visiting Miami. It was with the wrong two kids.
Marvin Jones's son, Josiah, is charged with battery and false imprisonment, charges related to the rape of a 12-year-old girl.
Unreal.
A police report says the victim says his son, Josiah, held her down and put rocks in her mouth to stop her from screaming.
This is a 12-year-old.
Yeah, that guy's trying to make it sound like, can you believe they're going to do that to a 12-year-old
boy? We're talking about. We're going to leave him in jail.
Oh, we're going to leave him in jail forever. But you see the comment there, they're saying wood chipper time.
And put a life charge on a young man.
Oh, yeah, a life charge. You should be facing capital punishment. You are a boy or girl? capital murder, capital charge, ride the lightning, firing squad, gallows, I don't care. That's not something you accidentally do. You thought you can understand a lot of scenarios where a fist fight could just be like, I don't know, this was a thing, never intended to case somebody, but they swing and then you swing and then they take a step back, they trip and fall and hit their head on a fire hydrant, cracks their brain, they hemorrhage and they die. And you're like, I didn't try to kill someone. Like, I was in a fight. I don't know what happened. And like, you could understand that. Or you could understand someone's like, I was out, we were enjoying ourselves, and I had a couple beverages. I thought I was fine, and I don't know, I must have lost control, or I must have fallen asleep on the way home, and I regret everything about that. And it's like, you know, not to excuse it away into nothingness, but you could say, you know, some people would say, there before the grace of God go I, or I'm not saying it's okay. What did Chris Rock say about O.J. Simpson? You got to pay all that money to Nicole, and there she is riding around in your car at your house with that waiter. I'm not saying it's okay, but I understand. You know, you're not saying it's okay, but you could at least understand, and it was an accidental thing. You don't accidentally, unfortunately, hold a young woman down and stuff her mouth with rocks so she could be abused and brutalized. That's not a kid. That's a fucking monster. You cage a monster forever, or to the gallows, or the electric chair, the firing squad, the proverbial wood chipper, whatever the maximum penalty is. And this guy's trying to excuse it away.
A young black man.
I'm sorry. Why did he throw the race in there? Did that have anything to do with anything? I would say the same thing for a young white man. A 12-year-old monster is a 12-year-old monster, sir. And with that kind of attitude, I wonder where he picked up some of this disgusting behavior. Well, maybe we should check your hard drive.
I was visiting Miami. It was with the wrong two kids.
Marvin Jones's son, Josiah, is charged with battery and false imprisonment, charges related to the rape of a 12-year-old girl. A police report says the victim says his son, Josiah, held her down and put rocks in her mouth to stop her from screaming.
This is a 12-year-old boy we're talking about. We're going to leave him in jail.
Yeah, we shouldn't leave him in jail. He should face capital punishment. Age be damned.
This is
There's no rehabilitating someone that would do that.
So,
boy. Anyway, here's this Asmongold talking about Israel, what they did when the Supreme Council got together for a meeting. Seems like maybe this is a bad idea.
So Israel totally fucking demolished them. Like, basically, they had these retards thought that it would be a good idea to get together in a building and decide who the new supreme leader is going to be. Well, you know what Israel is really good at? They're really good at intelligence. And so they found out where that building was. So this is the scattered IRGC documents marked top secret across the street. So there it is. This is the aftermath of the bombing here. Oh, man. Oh, wow. You're fucking insane for glazing it? I'm absolutely glazing it. This is a huge Israel W. They killed a bunch of terrorists trying to elect the new terrorist leader, and now they're dead. They're not in heaven, they're in hell. They're rotting, burning in hell because they are parasites that have taken over a country and sucked the life out of its people for 47 years. They are rotting and burning in hell. So
Yeah, I'll do a burn in hell button. Adios.
So Israel
decades.
Mike Johnson has thoughts on the War Powers Resolution. It's pretty crystal clear. Love Trump, hate Trump, indifferent. The authorization is pretty clear.
Decades. There's no question about this. The Democrats never had any question about it when Democrat presidents were using this authority. When you look at the analysis of the War Powers Act and the law that applies and the powers that are given to the Commander-in-Chief under Article 2 of the Constitution, President Trump has done exactly what he should do. He is squarely within the law. He used his discretion and his authority and the intelligence that he had, exquisite as it was, as is demonstrated by its effectiveness, and he did what he should have done as a commander-in-chief. The idea that a few colleagues here would try to move a war powers motion and resolution to the floor right now is dangerous. Imagine a scenario where Congress would vote to tell the commander-in-chief that he was no longer allowed to complete this mission. That would be a very dangerous thing. You see that Iran is firing almost seemingly indiscriminately at targets. They're trying to intimidate America. They're trying to test our resolve. And the idea that there's some members of this legislative body that would play along with that plays right into the hands of the enemy. And I think it's shameful. I do believe we have the votes to defeat it. I certainly hope we do, because we have lots of troops, service members in harm's way right now. And the balance of this thing is hanging there. It's been very effective thus far. It needs to be completed. We don't need Congress getting in the way of that. Yes, ma'am. Decades.
All right. Couldn't be much more crystal clear than that, methinks.
Decades.
All right. By the way, check in the message here. It's this is from John. It says, I want 2 sets of round coasters and a pin. Use any leftovers for cat food and kitties. Thank you. I think you have my address. I think I have your address. Please feel free to resend it. It might. Please resend it also. And then later, I'm going to go double check and see if I do have it in the other spot. But what John is referencing is something I did not get a chance to mention today. I have coasters. I do a sports show, the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. Coasters and pins for the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. He said, give me 2 orders of these. I'm going to get these mailed out first thing tomorrow, probably. These are Ohio-made wooden coasters for the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. 4 of them per package. Look at these quality coasters. And of course, you can set your The New American mug right on top. Fits perfect. All right, so I'll do that. I'll get you 2 sets of coasters and a pin. I'll get those mailed out as soon as possible. And anything left over will go towards salmon for the cats. John, what kind of animals do you have? I know you have bees. John runs an apiary, which is cool. What other aminals do you have? Here, I'll drop a comment. Please resend address. Okay, I put please resend address. I think I have it. In there, you have it. Okay, cool. Oh, it's in a message here too. It went through. Getting lots of messages now. Okay, cool. Let's keep it moving. Oh, you had a couple comments on those previous stories. Sarah said, Marco Rubio reminds me of too little, too late, always late to the rumble. He's a pretender. I don't know. President Trump said he might be the best Secretary of State in the history of America. Trump loves to glaze people like that. And that is good to give public praise to people. Sarah says the father should be charged. That monster kid. Lake Leon says, feed that kid a bunch of rocks. Whew, if he gets a life sentence, man, that kid might be in for it. Yes. Lake Leon says, we got to get them products moving. Yes, we will do it. The circle coasters, 2 sets of circles and a pin. Heck yeah. And if you want some, they're $30 a set, 2 for $50 and 25 for a pin. So 75 for the total if you want them. And that includes shipping. I eat the shipping cost on that. But it's a great way to fundraise for the New American Media. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, click the share show button, and text it out on X. Text it to a couple of your smart friends. Say, hey, we hang out for a couple hours every day on the TNAM Daily Show talking about the news. Join us. Jump into the comments. We're in this together. We're having a good time. We always have a good time here. It's usually the highlight of my day. Because I'd be doing this stuff. I'd be sitting on the couch or scrolling. I don't want to do all my scrolling on my own. You know, I do a lot of research to bring you stories that I think are relevant, newsworthy, timely, interesting, hilarious, but I don't want to do it on my own all the time. Ah, yes, Kevin Smith says this, and I agree. This is sort of the point that I was making. Dear feminists, for those of you in Rio Linda, California, dear feminists, Trump just freed the most oppressed women on planet Earth, and you hated it. I am holding for you in my formerly nicotine-stained fingers. Yeah, dear feminists, President Trump just freed the most oppressed women on planet Earth, and you hated it. So, spare me. Perfectly said. Ooh, great song, great band. So what was this about? John, Marion, anybody down there in Texas? Who was arrested outside of a Ken Paxton U.S. Senate watch party in Dallas? He reportedly showed up with a massive amount of ammunition. The guy was plotting something horrific. Let's ask Grok. Who got arrested at Paxton rally with ammo? What is the story? What does Grok have to say about this? Oh, he was masked, camouflage face mask, glasses, hat, gloves, outside Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton election night watch party in Dallas, the day of the Texas primary elections, where Paxton was advancing in the GOP Senate runoff against John Cornyn. 5:15 near the Marriott Dallas Uptown Hotel, near Paxton's watch party. Suspicious person, traffic stop on the man's car, blue Chrysler, without proper license plate. Yeah, everything's suspicious here. Initially arrested for traffic violations. During the inventory search, they discovered ammo, including several boxes of ammo, fully loaded magazines, shotgun shells. Some reports initially mentioned firearms, but Dallas PD later clarified it was ammunition only, no guns. There's nothing wrong with having munitions. Man was detained, handcuffed, and taken to Jack Evans Police Headquarters. Some sources said he was a food delivery driver, possibly DoorDash, there to make a delivery. Mayonnaise to an employee at the venue, but this hasn't been officially confirmed by police. No charges related to ammo. Well, there's nothing wrong with ammo. Been specified. No mention of illegal possession beyond the traffic stop, leading to discovery. Texas has permissive gun and ammo laws, but the suspicious circumstances, no plate. Why was he masked? Timing at a high political profile event prompted the response. Security-related incident, not tied to the rally. All right, so this is a story that we don't really have much to go on. Here's creepy Bill Clinton. He reminds me of Herbert the pervert on Family Guy. Bill Clinton smiles while looking through old Epstein photos. His lawyer takes them away from him. She's disgusted by this dude. Look. He's like, give me that. Give me. I'm not. Dude, shaking. What a weird.
Okay.
Mr. President, we have
And look at him grinning and smiling and laughing.
about 5 minutes remaining in the majority's first hour. So I just want to ask you some questions related to the crimes committed by Mr. Epstein and Ms. Maxwell.
And look, there's our post. There's Herbert Pervert next to us. He's like, huh?
Okay.
Mr. President, we have about 5 minutes remaining in the majority's first hour, so I just want to ask you some questions related to
He does look like he's drooling over the pictures, and that is a pissed off attorney.
the crimes committed by Mr. Epstein and Miss Maxwell.
Trying to get the proper facial expression. He's like, look at that. I remember when I was there. She's just like, she wants to want to get away. Remember those commercials about jumping on a plane or something? Want to get away? This woman wants to get away. Like, oh, dear God, give me that.
Let me see it.
Let me see it. This looks so bad. He's using it like it's a scrapbook. To others, it was trauma. To him, it was nostalgia. I don't trust nobody who licks their fingers to turn a page. She's trying to force him to stop. Bro has fond memories. All right. What is this now? Classic Masculinity shares this and says that white women need to be careful. It's now a trend in Europe, folks. Migrants are walking around looking for unsuspecting white women to punch as hard as they can. Same thing happening in the U.S. Both from black assailants and migrants. Do not stand around in public looking at your phone. Be aware of your environment. Watch out for these people and stay away from the people who would try to hurt you. They're saying that certain races would hurt you. I would say this is good advice anywhere you are, to not have your head buried in your phone. Be alert for anybody of any race. But this is sadly clothesline brutal. Music, oh geez, I forgot there was music on there. And that guy's walking around hitting all these people, causing a problem. Just smacking people in the face. And then just runs. Like, I want to see the end of this. You better catch it. Oh, and he's still hitting people. Why is nobody tackling this dude? Oh my God, look at this. Hey, maybe we should import a bunch of violent people into our country. That's a good idea. So please just be safe. Be careful, everybody. Be alert for everything. All right. TNAM preparedness. Be careful. All right. Engage Politics says, all right, listen to this. You can agree or disagree, but let's consider more perspectives than just this is bad or I love it. Engage Politics says Trump has been planning this attack on Iran since he got into office. His visits to Saudi Arabia, his deals with Qatar and Egypt, ending the war in Gaza, arresting Maduro, kicking China out of the Panama Canal, etc., have all been intentional to get us to this moment. He got Qatar, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Kuwait, etc. on our side. He alienated Iran in the region. He told Russia to stand down, and they have. All of this points to a massive takedown of China's global power. The fact that people are missing this because they're blindsided by Israel, or that they're blinded by Israel being involved, is insane. This is by far the best thought out, most strategic takedown of a regime in modern history. The man is a genius. Maybe so, maybe not. I will hold out hope that that could be true. Maybe so, maybe not. But let's not be all doom and gloom. Don't take the black pill. Oh, this was such a great interpretation of how things went down. The classic movie Tombstone. The bad guy here is Iran.
Well,
I didn't think you had it in you to show up. I gotta only play little clips so that I don't get thwumped over this.
I didn't think you had it in you.
I'm your huckleberry.
Oh, that's the United States right there. Wajana Ringo. What does he say? Wajana Ringo. You look like someone walked over your grave.
You look like somebody just walked over your grave.
Uh-oh, Iran.
Fight's not with you.
I beg to differ, sir.
I beg to differ, sir.
We started a game we never got to finish. Play for blood.
We play for blood. There you are chanting death to America all these years? No. We've been paying attention and waiting.
Blood, remember?
I was just...
Insider wire. Iranian officials say we're interested in de-escalation.
Fooling about.
I was just fooling about.
I wasn't. President Trump confirms the Ayatollah Khomeini is dead. That's just such a nice back and forth there. Tombstone. Epic movie.
Well.
Sarah, have you ever watched Tombstone? I got to watch Ender's Game. Tombstone. Benny's saying, did Ilhan Omar commit treason? I would not be surprised in the least. But does this qualify, or is this a little too vague? What say you?
Ilhan Omar just commit treason? Check out this tweet from last week, where Ilhan Omar tells Iran exactly when we're going to attack. Okay. Iraq was attacked by the U.S. during Ramadan. It's sickening to know that the U.S. will attack again Iran during Ramadan. The U.S. is again going to attack Iran during Ramadan. She says, we're going to do it. She gives the exact time because Ramadan runs from Tuesday, February 17th through March the 19th. It turns out that President Trump actually attacked directly in the middle of Ramadan, there on March 1st. So right in the center of Ramadan, Ilhan Omar is saying the U.S. will attack during Ramadan. I mean, I don't know. Could Ilhan Omar have been tipped off? She's a member of Congress. She definitely has her sources, right? Members of Congress saying, if anybody's wondering why the administration can't brief Congress on taking military action, here is your answer. Somali pirate, Gang of 8. Look at this. Gang of 8 meeting hours before the State of the Union, Marco Rubio and the CIA director briefed these critical 8 members of Congress, including House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, who's best friends with Ilhan Omar. Could he have potentially leaked this to Ilhan Omar? I don't know. I'm not sure. But I do know this. It's plainly obvious that Ilhan Omar was furious at the State of the Union. Obviously, she's screaming, yelling, shrieking at Donald Trump, attacking the president. I mean, let's just, on its face, so obscene and so absurd that this woman who was a child refugee to America, a nation that none of her ancestors had a hand in building, fighting for, or dying for, she got the greatest gift on earth to be flown here, no doubt, on a military plane from a war zone, and she treats our president this way during the State of the Union. It's despicable. What's also despicable is that Ilhan Omar has multiple times called for soft on terrorism policies. Let's just say that. Here she is saying that some people did something on 9/11.
CARE was founded after 9/11 because they recognized that some people did something.
And here's a report of Ilhan Omar asking for leniency for ISIS members from her district, Somali ISIS.
Omar asks a U.S. district judge for compassion when sentencing 9 Minnesota Somali American men convicted of trying to join the terrorist group ISIS.
Yes, bad look. It's a really bad look. You know, you can denaturalize somebody. Here's the American code to do it, based on terrorist affiliations. Did Ilhan Omar commit treason? Let me know what you think. Did Ilhan Omar just commit treason? Check out this tweet from last week, where Ilhan Omar tells Iran exactly when we're going to attack. Okay. Iraq was attacked by the U.S. during Ramadan. It's sickening to know that the U.S. will attack again Iran during Ramadan. The U.S.
Yeah, where are the arrests of the American traitors? What in hell are we waiting for? I don't know why we're waiting. Why couldn't we have done this week 1? I am so tired of waiting and allegedly trusting a plan. I'm not believing anything. I am not believing anything. Nothing about a plan. I want to see action. So frustrated. You know, I do actually agree here. Pinky's up to our daily troll. Oh, hold on. How do I do side by side? This is a copy and paste post that they make here once a week or so. I'm losing hope about Trump prosecuting his political enemies. We expected sweeping retribution, mass indictments of Democrats, and headlines, dramatic perp walks, and yet nothing. 0 enemies indicted. I 100% agree. That's literally what I'm saying right here. Like Leon just watched Tombstone last week. Always a good watch. Sarah says, I believe it's coming. Some actions take priority over others. Have patience. And they say, like, you're not going to go into Iran before you get Venezuela so that the oil is flowing that way. Otherwise, they shut the global economy down, shutting down the Strait of Hormuz. Okay. You took out the narco cartel leader in Mexico. And I think Maduro might be tied to election rigging, treason, globally. There's reports about it. David says, don't worry, the arrests are coming. I am worried. I'm not worried. I am so tired of waiting. Imagine you get up early on Christmas and you're waiting and waiting, but like the day never arrives. This is all so obvious. We know who the traitors are. You said it's like the Godfather movie. Please elaborate on how Trump making the traitorous arrest.
Did Ilhan Omar just want to be one?
All right, here's Alex exposing the cycle that we're trapped in.
I want to be 1,000,000,000% clear with people. I've been on there 32 years. And I've never said, this is ultra massive, serious probability it's going to happen. We're at the end of a global order. The financial system was designed to be a fraud and collapse into a new world order, great reset to make us all poor, social credit score. But China, 16, 17 years ago, double-crossed the globalists, broke away from their plan, kind of stole their plan. They weren't supposed to expand militarily, just control economics and have middlemen with the globalists. The West, NATO, the U.S. was still supposed to control the military. That was the balance of power. China double-crossed. We had the China pivot. It wasn't real under Obama. Trump never got it going. It was Flynn's first warn this would happen. Then we started it now. And so the globalist system began to fall with that. Then populist movements woke up to it. We helped do that. Exposed the tyranny of the unelected EU and the rest of it. And so that old system is dying. And into this vacuum now comes this new system, and Trump is coming into the vacuum, exerting American power over our hemisphere against our enemies. Sure, Israel has its policies and its reasons for doing all of this, but at the end of the day, I know Trump is doing the best he can. He believes he's doing the right thing. There's so many dangers. I wouldn't have done this, but I do see where that's coming from, and I do understand the bigger picture. That when we say that there's a great danger, there is a great danger, because the old economic system's in free fall. The globalists were going to cut off the energy and make us poor to control us. Trump's trying to turn the economy back on like defibrillators when somebody has a heart attack. And so when you have that historically, all these different governments and power blocks, they go to war. When the economy's collapsing, empires, countries go to war. So China wants to go to war. Iran wants to go to war. All of this is happening right now. So it's this fourth turning. It's these cycles we go through, and we're in the key part of the end of one cycle, the beginning of a new, and the fourth turning is a mega turning. So that's why everything is supercharged right now, like in the spring in Texas, tornado season or whatever, or in the fall hurricane season when the cold air hits the hot air. This is the time for all these violent things to erupt, and we're seeing it erupt. So that's why this is such an amazing time to be alive right now, Brianna. I want to be 1,000,000,000% clear with people.
Are we awaiting arrest? Give it a rest. Sarah says, Christmas is coming soon. David elaborates, like The Godfather, they're taking out the dangerous stuff first, and the reaction will be less people to die, in my opinion. It's all connected. Man, I sure hope you guys are right.
I want to be 1,000,000,000%.
Yeah, if you're a little confused on what you should be rooting for and what you should be rooting against, I'm with the side that does not chant death to America. I'm with the side that does not chant death to America. I remember this. At the southern border under Biden, which was Obama's third term, the reporter asks this male illegal where he's from, and he threatens him by saying,
If you are smart enough, you will know who I am. But you are really not smart enough to know who I am.
You're smart enough, you know who I am, but you are not smart enough to know who I am.
But soon you're gonna know who I am.
But soon you're going to know who I am.
You're not smart enough to know who I am. But soon you're gonna know who I am.
And
know who I am. Very easy.
Wow, very easy. The entitlement.
No, believe me, I'm much better than that.
No, believe me, I'm much better than that.
The entitlement, guys. Wow.
So who is this guy? Sleeper cells. Some might be asking, what is a sleeper cell? I gotta mute the music. A sleeper cell is like a secret group of people that blends into a community until they get signaled to start their mission. Look at all this mass of humanity that was flooded into America. These groups could be spies, operatives, or even terrorists, and they stay hidden until they receive instructions to carry out their duties. Sleeper cells are typically used by organizations or groups for covert operations. These cells allow them to maintain a low profile within a community until they receive instructions to carry out specific activities. Look at all this. Military-aged men imported into this country. Military-aged men imported during Obama's third and most honest term, with Biden as puppet. Stay frosty. Be prepared, people. Have a plan. Get some training. Sleepy Joe Biden let in the sleepers. That's good wordplay. Kenneth would be proud of that. Lake Leon says, I trust Trump. He knows way more than I do. David adds about this stuff, rinse and repeat. It was the old way, but it's all connected. They're taking out the most dangerous people first. But if this doesn't happen the way we think it will, we will all be in trouble. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Like we're burning daylight. Let's get to it. Do it yesterday. Hey, during the GOP Oversight Committee hearing, Hillary wore this blue dress, but who wore it better? Who wore it better? Bill Clinton in the Epstein painting or Hillary? I don't know. I would just ask, what difference at this point does it make? Actually, I'll put that in the comments. What difference at this point does it make? Hey, here's Marco Rubio. Check out this Marco one. Marco's dancing, and he knows what's coming up. Ready?
Fireball.
Da 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 da. Blam 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 blam. Boom 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 blam blam blam. Ba 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 da ba da 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 da. Fireball. Yeah, it is a pretty incredible edit. There's Marco, our next president.
Fireball.
David says, in my opinion, the military is watching the border situation the whole time through Biden. Who knows? I mean, yeah, but watching and letting it happen. Why weren't, 40 million people. Marco Polo. Narco Polo and Marco Polo. We got both of them. Good for us. Who should be the next president of the United States? Marco Rubio, Pete Hegseth, or J.D. Vance? What say you? Put it in the comments. Fireball. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Hey, Supreme Court came through with something good today.
The nation's
it was 2 days ago, but let's talk about it today.
Capital today, where the Supreme Court has ruled on California policy regarding the notification of parents surrounding their child's gender identity. Today's ruling overturns a state law which prevented schools from notifying parents if students change their pronouns or gender expression at school. This comes after some religious parents and educators challenged California school policies aimed at preventing schools from outing students to their families. California argued students have the right to privacy over their gender expression, especially if they fear rejection from their families. News out of the nation's capital today, where the Supreme Court has ruled on California policy regarding the notification of...
Could you imagine trying to make the case that you have a right to hide stuff from the parents? Unbelievable. Yeah, that'll be one of my main party line tickets. Engelman 2028. Yeah, we're going to stop that crap. Thanks, Kenneth. I grudgingly accept. I would do it. I mean, all right, let's go.
Out of the
I think I'd fix a lot of stuff.
interviewing people.
This is a palate cleanser, not really a news story, but this is kind of nice. Tim Pool shared this. But I like this. This American dude on his way to his Japanese fluency class decides to talk to a local Japanese grandpa.
Interviewing people in
And it turns out to be the most wholesome conversation ever.
Japan, Tom fluent in Japanese.
こんにちは。日本人ですか？
そうです。
私はアメリカ人なんですけど、日本語を勉強しています。動画一緒に撮ってもいいですか？
西川隆。
かっこいい名前ですね。
いや、こんなん初めては。
初めて喋れる？
喋ってくれてありがとう。
Thank you for speaking.
本当。
外国人友達ないですか？
ないです。
初めて？
Friends? No.
今から友達しよう。
Let's be friends then.
食べに来る？
今日？
Would you like to come
いい
to
よ。
my house?
一緒に行こう。
Let's go.
いつも家で食べますか？
大体作ってくれるからね。
My wife cooks.
よろしくお願いします。いただきます。美味しそうですか？
美味しいよ。
アメリカ来たことありますか？
アメリカとハワイとかね。
結構その時に
ハワイで。
ハワイとロサンゼルスと
昔の話。
昔の話。40年前
？48年前。
48年前。すごい。ありがとうございます。
ではいつでもしてきていいから。
会いましょう。
はい、会いましょう。
本当ありがとうございます。おやすみ。
Interviewing people in Japan, Tom fluent in Japanese.
Just awesome. Thanks for jumping in, Sarah. Appreciate you. Hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with a friend. Yeah, this is what I did in Cancun. Like when I would go to Mexico, I would sit on the bus and I would talk to people getting off their shift, working at the hotels, and it's the best. Talking to people and trying to get better, trying to become fluent, more fluent. Practica. Trying to entiendo. I speak some broken Spanish, but I try. And it's pretty cool.
Interviewing people.
I thought that was nice. A nice palate cleansing video because we got to deal with so much garbage. President Trump talking about Obama and how he screwed this country up.
Hussein Obama made maybe the worst deal I've ever seen because he gave all power in the Middle East to Iran. He went the exact opposite way, and I terminated that. If I didn't terminate that deal, they would be sitting with a massive nuclear weapon 3 years ago, which would have been used already on Israel at least, and other countries also. And we wouldn't be talking about it right now. But if I didn't terminate the deal that Obama made, giving them everything, including plane loads of cash. Do you remember the airplane flew over there? It was a Boeing 757. There was two of them, loaded. They took out all the seats. It was loaded with green cash. So much cash that you could, it was in Virginia, Maryland, and Washington, D.C. They got all the cash from all the banks. They put it, and they flew it to Iran. I never knew a president had that power. I'm going to maybe try it sometime if it's okay. I think I'm going to do it. I'll fly it somewhere. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. 2 planes loaded from floor to ceiling. Big planes, Boeing 757s, taken over there and given cash. In addition to that, he was giving them billions of dollars. But worse, he was giving them the right to have the path to a nuclear weapon. The other thing was Barack Hussein Obama made maybe the worst.
Can we arrest Obama yet? Yeah, it's time to prosecute this felon, says Liz Churchill. Okay. Let's keep it rolling through our stories. Pope Leo wants to chime in. Thanks, Pope Leo. I'm following with deep concern what is happening in the Middle East and in Iran during this tumultuous time. Stability and peace are not achieved through mutual threats nor through the use of weapons, which sow destruction, suffering, and death, but only through reasonable, sincere, and responsible dialogue. Lee Kern says, thanks, Pope. You put it so reasonably. I'm sure the Islamic fundamentalists who want to cut off people's heads for Allah will sit down for a cup of tea and a nice old chin wag with some biscuits to resolve this like gentlemen after reading your tweet. Woke Pope button. This comment looks like Pope Leo won't be leading the 10th crusade. Were there 9 crusades? You don't need a pope to start a crusade, bro. Look up how to start a crusade. It's called sarcasm. A man with soft hands ain't leading anything but a trip to the basement to hide. Remind me why the walls around the Vatican were necessary. Oh, that's a good point. Easy to say from your castle. Where was the Pope when tens of thousands were being killed by the Iranian government? Exactly. Might want to sit this one out, Popey. Bill Clinton getting grilled about Epstein. Is there volume?
Was her friend, not Epstein's friend. Is that accurate?
I'd say that it was accurate to say that I felt closer to her than him.
And for the record, why was that?
Because I had seen her more, and because she was very good friends with Evelyn Rothschild and his wife Lynn, whom I knew and was in regular touch with.
By the way, comment on there. They are really throwing this Rothschild under the bus. It's a strange thing. Les Wexner did it too.
She stated that President Clinton was her friend, not Epstein's friend.
There he is flipping through the old photos. We'll watch. Yeah. She's like, give me that. Oh, Herbert the pervert, give me that.
Okay.
Okay. Kind of sound like Instagram.
Mr. President, we have about 5 minutes remaining in the majority's first hour, so I just want to ask you some questions related to...
Remember when Les Wexner was answering questions about Rothschild? And the attorney leans in and goes, if you answer any of these questions with more than 5 words, I'm going to fucking kill you. That's what the thought bubble above this lady is saying right now.
The crimes committed by Mr. Epstein and Miss Maxwell.
Guys like us, we had it.
Those were the days.
I knew where you were.
Girls were girls and men were men. And we sure could use a man like Herbert Hoover again.
Guys.
Dude's hearing the fucking All in the Family, Those Were the Days theme song.
Like us, we had it made.
Nothing will happen to him.
She stated that President...
We shall see. Maybe so, maybe not. This Hassan guy, Hassan Piker, tells his audience how to commit terrorist attacks. But Tim Pool says, stop making me defend Hassan. And this Hassan guy's trash. He's explaining, as I have been for 14 years, that commercial drone technology has created an insane level of warfare. Saying you can buy these is not telling people to buy them, and I've said the exact same thing Hassan has said to the government.
Again, that's a Shahed drone. Like, that's crazy.
Oh my God.
Bro, you really actually don't need, like I was thinking about this with, like, the Afghanistan, the Taliban, Pakistan fight that was taking place. And I was really thinking about this. You really don't need suicide bombing anymore. You know, because like the Taliban guy was like, oh, you have nuclear arms, but we have like suicide bombers. Like, we'll just blow up your country with suicide bombers. And it's like, you really don't need that anymore in drone warfare, right? You don't need that at all. Just make fucking drones. Just, you can purchase them from, you know, you can purchase them in the online marketplace. Like, China literally sells like explosive ordnance delivery mechanisms that you can put to a DJI drone that you can purchase like at virtually no significant cost in comparison to, like, you know, sophisticated equipment that you need to put together. So I guess, like, you kind of, at that point, you're doing that for the love of the game, right? Like, you're doing suicide bombing just for the love of the game.
Officer Kane says, no, Tim, he is telling his audience to do that. That's the difference between your audience and his. You could say the exact same thing verbatim, and your audience will go, neat. His will go out and buy them to attack people.
He was...
Maybe so. This is an interesting post about former CIA agent, currently the funniest person on the internet, and he never told a single joke. I think there's too much music on this.
He was planning something that would dwarf 9/11, right?
Yeah, it's too much music. I can't play.
He was planning something that would...
New York is... Hey, finally some truth on CNN. Fareed Zakaria.
New York is really a prime example of a problem Democrats seem unwilling to confront.
They are the problem.
Blue cities are out of control.
Oh,
promising more, spending more, delivering less, and pushing off the fiscal problems to some future day. Take Los Angeles, another one-party metropolis wrestling with affordability and disorder.
Yep.
The city's homelessness budget for fiscal year 2025-26 totals about $950 million. The LA Homelessness Services Authority reported that in 2023, homelessness was up 9% countywide and 10% in the city. And a 2024 AP account noted that homelessness has surged 70% countywide since 2015 and 80% in the city. All this amid public frustration despite billions spent. An audit reviewed $2.4 billion in city homelessness funding and found that officials could not reliably track where it went or what it achieved. Or take Chicago, with a mayor whose approval rating is deep underwater, where the pension promises are so large that they will surely bankrupt the city at some point. What is the theory of good government here? If the answer is keep adding programs, the city will keep producing unaffordability, because unaffordability is what happens when government becomes a machine that grows faster than the society it governs. Zoran Mamdani's basic instinct is correct. Focus on affordability, especially housing, but not by providing government subsidies. These only seem to have driven up the cost of rent, as subsidies naturally do. The city's rental assistance spending rose from $263 million in fiscal year 2020 to $1.34 billion in the most recently reported fiscal year. That is a 5 times increase in a handful of years, and housing costs only got worse. New York is really a prime example of a problem Democrats seem unwilling to confront. Blue cities are out of control, promising more, spending more, delivering less, and pushing off the fiscal problems to some future day. Take Los Angeles.
There you go. Finally,
New York is really a prime example.
How weird is that? A young autistic man in New York City is going viral after blocking fare evaders from riding the subway for free.
Point of that?
Huh?
What was the point of that?
Everyone's required to pay the fare if you didn't realize.
Do you work for MTA?
First off,
do you work for MTA?
Of course not, but this is the
Do you get paid
fare.
extra money to do that?
Huh?
Huh? Do you get paid extra money to do that?
Of course not.
Were you the one that opened the door?
Of course not.
Of course not. So mind your fucking business next time. Okay?
All right.
All right. Stupid ass nigga. What was the point of that?
Confronted by a black woman who's furious that he forced her to pay. Let's find him and reward him. Based ASF. As F. Gave him a Burger King at.
What was
the mission of George?
All right, here's Matt Walsh talking about Trump stuff. So here you go.
The mission of George Soros and his prosecutors is to spring barbarians loose so that Americans are slaughtered. It happened to Irina Zarutska. It happened to Stephanie Minter. It happened to the victims of the mass shooting in Austin, a 30-year-old man, a 19-year-old man, a 21-year-old woman. And it will continue to happen, whether or not we achieve our objectives in Iran, objectives that to this day still have not been fully articulated. As it stands, this is the status quo you're expected to accept. That we can terminate the supreme leader of Iran, despite all of his security and paranoia and power. But we can't deport Somali fraudsters in Minneapolis. We can't denaturalize scammers and grifters who openly declare for the world to see that they despise the United States and seek to destroy it. We can't get gangster thugs and illegal aliens like Kilmar Abrego Garcia out of the country without 10 different female judges, all of them with foreign last names, issuing an immediate nationwide injunction. We can't imprison the insurance executives who are ripping off Medicaid by sending massive payouts to fake autism treatment clinics and leering centers while keeping a cut for themselves, of course. None of that is possible, apparently. So we can eliminate a threat thousands of miles away, a threat that's supposedly urgent, but we can't do anything about the clear and obvious threats that are living in this country right now. Apparently all it takes is some low testosterone schizophrenic weirdo fighting with Border Patrol while armed with a handgun, along with an unemployed lesbian extremist driving an SUV directly at a federal agent, to completely derail immigration enforcement within our borders.
Did Trump surrender there? I mean, he didn't come out looking strong.
Now, for the past several months, I've been told continuously that we can't actually do mass deportations, much less mass denaturalizations, because it's impractical, expensive, politically unpopular, risky. Deporting illegal immigrants who haven't committed additional crimes, who have no criminal record aside from being here illegally, is especially fraught, I'm told, we're all told. That was the argument we heard when Los Angeles burned and Trump had to send in the National Guard. It was the argument we heard when ICE was forced to flee Minneapolis. Maybe there's some truth to it. You know, maybe mass deportations and mass denaturalizations are impractical, expensive, politically unpopular, risky. I can't say for sure that a deportation operation targeting all illegal aliens, again, not just the criminal, not just the additional criminals, but all of them, I can't say that such an operation at the kind of scale we would need wouldn't result in massive backlash from the electorate. I think those fears are overblown, but maybe they aren't. Well, Mr. President, the war in Iran is also impractical, expensive, politically unpopular, and risky. Even if it all works out. Even if in the end it was the right move. It still is all of those things.
How could it be risky?
That in and of itself doesn't mean it's wrong. And I acknowledge that it's your call to make in the end. You're the commander-in-chief after all. But if we're going to do something drastic and explosive and unpopular thousands of miles from home, why not do it here too? That's the question that the base is asking. If we're going to give a major prize to the donors and pundit class, people who have tried to undermine you every step of the way, people who oppose your domestic agenda, people who many of them want you to be impeached and imprisoned, if we're going to reward them, then will we also reward your America First base? Will you bring back the Muslim ban, restart workplace raids, suspend the legal immigration system, strip citizenship from paper Americans who use the word they when they describe our country, strip citizenship from Americans who can't even speak English and don't respect our laws, finish the big, beautiful border wall? You can capture Maduro and kill the Ayatollah, both impressive feats, even if I'm skeptical of the objectives and downstream effects related to the latter. But if you could do all that, then I would ask you, we ask you, will you finish the thing you set out to achieve? Will you make America great again? The mission of George Soros and his prosecutors is to spring barbarians loose so that Americans are slaughtered. It happened to Irina Zarutska. It happened to Stephanie Minter.
Did it reset?
It happened to the victims of the mass shooting in Austin, a 30.
Yeah, I think it reset. I don't know. Did President Trump give up in Minneapolis, or did they achieve their objective? I've heard it argued both ways.
The mission of George Soros.
Do you have a title?
All right, let's bounce over here. There's a new movie coming from Mel Gibson, a sequel, I believe, to The Passion of the Christ. Here he is talking with Joe Rogan.
The title?
Yeah, it's just like the resurrection of the Christ. Yeah, it's like, so that's a title. And yeah, it's very ambitious. That's all I'll say. It took a long time to write. It's really ambitious, and it goes from like the fall of the angels to the death of the last apostle.
Do you have a start date?
I don't have a start date. I just have to begin pre-production and see what happens. And it's just going to roll in its own time. It's taken its own time. I thought it was late. I thought, oh, it's taking too long. It's taking too long, but it's probably just right. Yeah, it's when it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Well, if you believe that, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope you're right.
I think I'm right. My instincts are that I'm right.
Yeah, yeah.
And if I was going to trust anybody with that story, it would be you.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a massive thing. And theologically, it's something that you have to really look at and make correlations that that ring true. Because it's not all written.
Do you consult with someone like a biblical scholar?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness, yeah. Yeah. And, of course, there's your own a thing that comes into it from having read the book a few times. You read the book a few times, and it's amazing how your memory, how there's these recessive files somewhere in the background, how you can correlate this piece to that piece over there. And that's important because juxtaposition is everything with this story. And what it means in a bigger picture.
Yeah.
So it's hard to explain, but it's quite involved.
Yeah, well, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
This dude says, America, it's time to arrest everyone involved with Epstein. The government, best I can do is war with Iran. Well.
Do you have a title?
I would watch the sequel to Mel Gibson's Passion of the Christ. I would watch a sequel to Conspiracy Theory. Anyone else? I would absolutely watch that. Both of them. Man, was Conspiracy Theory ahead of its time. Steve Ferguson says, not only are illegal aliens included in the census, so are H-1B visa holders, green card workers, OPT work permit holders, the 55 million visa holders living here. Are you kidding me? Why should this wave of foreigners determine who we vote for? Oh my God. Fisher King says, if foreigners were allowed to meddle with the affairs of a nation as soon as they settled down in its midst, many dangers might occur, since the foreigners, not yet having the common good firmly at heart, might attempt something harmful to the people. That's Thomas Aquinas referencing Aristotle. Let me say that again. That's Thomas Aquinas referencing Aristotle. And it's basic common sense on why you don't flood yourself with foreigners and give them citizenship. You can think about Ilhan Omar and the Somali fraud in Minnesota in relation to this quote. And that's almost certainly the tip of the iceberg. Probably every ethnic lobby is engaged in fraud or in some way undermining the USA to a greater or lesser degree because of our overly generous and stupid immigration policies, and because they don't feel American despite what they might say. Birthright citizenship is a disaster. If the Supreme Court rules that it's the law of the land, that should generate a crisis. John Daniel says, so if we totally obliterated Iran's nuclear capabilities just 8 months ago, then why are we about to go to war? The Trump admin's justification for war feels like spitballing. Just tell us the real reason. Maybe so, maybe not. This Larry says, honestly, I'd prefer we bombed Minneapolis and Dearborn than Iran. Well, we have areas of the United States that have been conquered. Paul asks, this means we can send the 2 million Iranians in America home afterward, right? Right. Senator John Curtis was the sole Republican voting against the confirmation of Jeremy Carl, and now he's opposing voter ID laws. What is going on? Jesse Kelly says, what's going on is red state Republicans are the dumbest, laziest voters in America, which is why our reddest states send the biggest losers to the Senate. Good grief. All right, I think I just had a little bit from that one.
I close my... Everybody was
All right, President Trump is calling Spain out.
Everybody was enthusiastic about it, Germany, everybody. And Spain didn't do it. And now Spain actually said that we can't.
Kenneth said, even those with MasterCards were counted in the census. Yeah. You get a vote, and you get a vote, and you get representation, and you get representation. You have a Diners Club card. Remember Diners Club cards?
Can't use their bases. And
anyway, Spain, their leftist prime minister, Pedro Sanchez, refused to support the United States and allow American forces to use their military bases. Big big mistake.
That's all right. We could use their base if we want. We could just fly in and use it. Nobody's going to tell us not to use it, but we don't have to. But they were unfriendly. And so I told him we don't want to. Spain has absolutely nothing that we need other than great people. They have great people, but they don't have great leadership. And as you know, they were the only country that in NATO would not agree to go up to 5%. I don't think they would have agreed to go up to anything. They wanted to keep it at 2%, and they don't pay the 2%. So we're going to cut off all trade with Spain. We don't want anything to do with Spain.
It likes to rain when we cut our trade with Spain in May.
Everybody was at
the eyes peeled on Spain. Yeah, Elon Musk in the comments here. Hey, Pedro Sanchez, go fuck yourself. The Elon Musk quote. Question Antiquity says they want you to know how evil they are so that you feel powerless to do anything because that is how demoralization works. Kenneth asks if Dearborn is in Bambi County. Yeah, Dear Spain, FAFO for sure. Yeah, you got to fight off Marxists and shadow bans and pedos and GMOs and the New World Order agenda. Signs you found the one. You're both on a government watch list. Just claims that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu,
FBI Director Mueller, BBC News, and ABC have
murdered 3,000 Americans on 9/11, officially claiming Israel was behind the hijacking of the planes and the falling of the Twin Towers, the greatest terrorist attack in American history.
confirmed.
Oh, okay. She's going hard in the paint. What do you say? Hey, how does this sound? 28 years of no Democrats in the White House. How about 0 more years of Democrats in the White House ever? That works for me. That would be just fine with me. Trump would be president 45 and 47 with an asterisk in between. J.D. Vance would be 48 and 49. Rubio would be 50 and 51. Hegseth would be 52 and 53. Could we handle 28 years? 28 more years. All these Franklin books, they're getting pretty unhinged. Franklin introduces the Ayatollah to Jesus. Whew. The Ayatollah meets his 40 virgins, but it doesn't go as planned. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, where'd it go? The whites. Well, there's white smoke. That means that Iran has a new Ayatollah. Like how they elect the Pope. That's kind of clever. Here's the 2002 Iraq war propaganda. Peak Britney Spears. 2026 Iran war propaganda. Whoa, Britney Spears with knives. Okay. All right. Okay then. All right, let's try to make sense of this. Israel needs Americans for the war in Iran. Democrats think illegals are Americans. Goodwill Hunting, working out this math equation, okay? So then immediately ship all illegals to war in Iran. I mean, that's a formula. In this one, black smoke signals that the College of Mullahs has not reached a decision on the new Ayatollah today. Another play on the Pope.
Israel.
And look, this is a very fair perspective. Grand Ole 11 here.
Israel is not our responsibility. Iran is not our responsibility. Palestine is not our responsibility. Ukraine is not our responsibility. But at the same time, I want freedom and self-determination for the people of Israel, Iran, Palestine, and Ukraine. These two sentiments are not in conflict with each other. I believe that people should be able to fight for themselves, but I do not think that I am obligated to support their fight when their fight has nothing to do with my interests. That said, sometimes it is in line with our country's interests to be involved in other countries' conflicts. Sometimes it is in our best interest if a country like Iran is not ruled by a radical leader who poses a threat to our national security. The conversation on geopolitics has become so black and white, like if you say that you support the people of Iran, that means that you support World War III. It is not that simple, and there's way more nuance to these things. And a lot of these statements that you guys think are in conflict with each other actually can coexist at the same time.
Ricky says, to take down the deep state, the number one interest of MAGA, we need to destroy their tentacles that are wrapped around the globe. 15-minute strategic wars are not a problem if they are crippling the deep state. In fact, soon the deep state operation will be dead. Camilla says the Islamic regime is not only a danger to the people of Iran, but its regional actions pose risks well beyond its borders. Daniel says two things can be true at once. Great take, my friend.
Israel is not our responsibility.
Fair takes. All right, let's make a switch now over to our X feed. Please make sure you hit like, share the show, subscribe to a friend. Share the show to a friend and subscribe, rather. Remember that we have Rumble rants and Super Chat tips if you are enjoying the program. I am your humble bartender. I do work off tips. So if you like what's going on, you're having a good time, and you want to support keeping the lights on next month and all of those things, you tip your local bartender. You can do that on Rumble rants and Super Chats. You can subscribe on Patreon. You can also become a member, a subscriber on Rumble and YouTube as well. Direct donations can go to Venmo or Cash App. That's just my name, Brian Engelman. Or you could go through PayPal. The email address is fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com. Kenneth says, the Ayatollah was heard to say, I turned and I ran so far away, couldn't get away. And right here on our X feed, we're at American_media_. You know that guy. That guy's like me. He is me. That's where you click to link up with us on Patreon. At least everybody, please do it and follow us on the free page. And if you're feeling up to it, become a monthly subscriber, as so many of you have, and thank you. All right. Let's dig into the news here. Founder of BLM Illinois, Jay McLemore, caught on video engaging in a physical fight with a female worker who alleges that he has been embezzling money from the organization. Oh, really? Let's watch this. Okay. And he's down. Now he's up, and now he's hitting, and now, oh, he goes down again. Man, this dude. Weak sauce, bruh. Alleging that he has been embezzling money from the organization. Where's my surprised face? All right, let's look at this lady. The wife of a member of the U.S. military who's deployed in the Middle East goes on TMZ to say this. Could you imagine if this was your wife and you find this out?
He's also not happy. And I will say, more than any other decision that any commander-in-chief has made, in his entirety being in the military, more service members are being vocally upset about this than we've ever seen before. But it is very obvious to a lot of service members and a lot of military families that this has nothing to do with protecting Americans. This has everything to do with distracting from this administration's dismal performance at home. And what we aren't.
What a broad, sweeping generalization based on personal opinion. More than 1,000 Americans have been killed by that Iranian regime. To say this has nothing to do, that's just factually incorrect.
Okay with what my husband isn't okay with is risking their lives to serve that distraction. He's also.
Goodness. Shameful and inappropriate. Oh, she does more? Great. This lady's a gem. What a peach. Maybe he's going to sign up for additional deployments to stay away from her. Buzz Patterson says, if I was deployed and fighting a war and my wife did this while I was gone, she wouldn't be my wife anymore. I feel sorry for the poor schmuck who married to this bitch. I imagine he does too. Let's take a watch.
Lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. That often happens in war.
If you voted for this, I want you to know that I hate you. I mean that. I hate you. And that's not just me speaking out of fear or sadness as the spouse of an active duty service member, although I am profoundly sad and incredibly terrified right now. But I still mean it when I say that if you voted for this, I hate you. And if you know me in real life and you're watching this and you're shocked because you're thinking to yourself, well, I voted for this and I know Kendall and I know that she couldn't possibly hate me. She knows me. I want you to know it goes for you too. In fact, not only does it go for you too, I hate you twice as much as the strangers that voted for this. And you are delusional if you think that you get to look me in my eyes and tell me that you care about me while actively cheering on the man who made it very clear from the very beginning that he would happily send my husband, my soulmate, to die in a foreign country. This is monstrous. It's monstrous. They struck a school building. More than 50 little
Who's they? They.
girls are dead this morning because of the man you installed.
This is as stupid as when someone blames that illegal alien who evaded an arrest by ICE, made an illegal U-turn on the roadways, crashed into a special needs student in Georgia, and the person goes, ICE did that. ICE killed that lady. No, ICE did not kill that teacher in Georgia. The illegal alien did. It sounds like this lady's trying to blame the United States for that attack that killed people at a school. That was my take on it. Completely incorrect.
And the most powerful office in the world. That's on you. And I don't know how you're going to live with yourself with that knowledge. Probably an unhealthy dose of delusion and lack of empathy for anyone else on this planet. But I can say that.
You have any empathy for the women who have been oppressed for 47 years? No, this lady has none of that.
I don't have to live with you. I don't have to have you in my life.
We're okay with that.
I don't have to have monsters
You mean like the Ayatollah, like the monsters like that?
in my life. And at this point, if you're still supporting this administration, you're a monster. You are a monster. You are irredeemable trash. And frankly, I do not care. The one thing I will say, I apologize to my mother for any shocked and upset phone calls she gets from people in my hometown about this video, but I'm not sorry for making it because I want you to know. I want you to know how deep my hatred for you runs right now if you voted for this. You.
Yeah, we get it. Angry white female leftist. Awful. Yeah, so Supreme Court blocks California's gender secrecy policies in Mirabelli v. Bonta, rightfully ruling that policies violated parental rights. Importantly, Justice Barrett got the better of Justice Kagan's cunning dissent. It's a thread. Oh, hold on. It's a 2-panel thread. Okay. All right. In 2020, Will brought the first case in the county against Madison School District and got the first win against Kettle Moraine School District. Yeah, so gender transition policies are unconstitutional. These policies are in effect in thousands of schools nationwide, and they hide gender transitions from parents. Huge win for society. Rupert Lowe says, another day, another stabbing. We need to get real. I am sick of it. We're all sick of it. This is not the Britain that I want to live in. The British state needs to brutally crack down on knife crime, and I mean brutally. That's exactly what Restore Britain would do, no more. Elon says, how many more children must die before action is taken? Enough is enough. Dave Benner, nemesis of neocons, says Dave Smith just smashes Trump's Israel First regime change operation. Take a listen. Dave says Dave Smith humiliates a panelist who revived all of Bush's talking points from 2003 in an attempt to sell this pathetic engagement. There's two different takes on this.
For the last 2 years, Pierce, for the first time, really, in my lifetime and maybe in American history, the war hawks have had to come debate us. Like it's a new reality now. Like Ted Cruz was trying to tweet at me the other day. Like now that the media has been decentralized and the corporate media is destroyed, they actually have to come in and have the argument. And we have so consistently destroyed you guys over the last 2 years that
just like what the propaganda you put out about the elections in Iran.
This is now. You
destroyed us. Yeah,
dude. Again,
just
you
killed
can't
us
just
on
stop
that one.
interrupting, Pierce. He can't let me make the point. This is now a pro-Palestinian country. That's how bad you guys have lost the argument. So you guys are all giddy now because you got your war, even though the American people are totally against it. Just wait, dude. What you did? By the way, Pierce, keep in mind what Ben just said.
It's almost like you're rooting
This is
for
going,
American
oh, man,
failure so you can be right on Twitter.
Pierce,
That's pretty messed up.
Okay, so Pierce, this is how stupid this is. If I were to say to someone, don't get hammered and go out and drive your car, and then you get hammered and go out and drive your car, and I go, hey, you're hammered, come home right now. Ben would say, you're rooting for me to crash the car. No, dummy, I'm rooting for you to get out of the car.
No.
You're fucking,
the difference
listen, dude,
between you is that you're sitting there and you're saying you don't care about the people in Iran. You don't care about the American troops who have been killed by Iran. You guys talked about
the reality.
Pierce, what a fucking dumb argument you're reducing. You don't care about people. Fuck off.
You know, the reality, Dave, about what you said about the last 2 years in the media and stuff is actually one of the reasons why my show has become increasingly popular. Is precisely because you would not see a debate. You would not see a debate like we've seen between you and Ben Ferguson for the last hour anywhere on mainstream media.
Is that a debate?
And actually, it's actually
when you're telling people to F off, it's not.
It's actually an important and healthy thing that people who have diametrically opposed views have to duke it out with each other. I feel like I learned.
You know, this is the conversation I had with Pierce Morgan. Oh, doggone it. I had the wrong screen size on. Sorry, guys. I was looking at another screen. When I met Pierce Morgan, this is what I told him. I said, I completely disagree with your stance on the Second Amendment, but I appreciate the fact that you're having the conversation every night because it's proven my point. I don't think I said it that way, but I appreciate that you're having the conversation every night. I completely disagree with you. I think it's making my case stronger that you keep doing this. He said, well, you know, I do appreciate that. I think we need to have more conversation in this country, not less. I appreciate that, young man. Thank you. And he extended his hand and we shook hands. I was the bartender at one of the Hollywood parties and he was one of the guests. And you're not supposed to talk to the celebrities. You're not supposed to, but like I'm me. I'm a talker. I'll talk to everybody always. But you're not supposed to challenge somebody and tell them I completely disagree with you. Like that's maybe a little rude. But Piers Morgan has been a supporter of open debate and conversation, and I would love to get on this 6-panel platform with them and participate in this show. Damn right I would. I would love to. And I have reached out, and I will continue reaching out.
It's actually an important and healthy thing that people who have diametrically opposed views have to duke it out with each other.
Well,
I feel like I learned things from both of you.
One quick point in, Pierce. One quick point that I didn't get
very
to
quickly. We're running out of time, but very quickly.
If Ben is going to say, which by the way, my prediction on this, Donald Trump has lost the midterm elections, and if this thing goes bad, the 2028 election is gone and a Democrat will win. And even by Ben's own admission here, he's risking handing this country back over to the Democrats for what? To maybe liberate the people of Iran? That's America first? That we're going to risk President AOC over them getting their freedom? I mean, Jack, dude, you got to admit, man, we got to abandon this president now, dude. That's it.
It sounds like Nick Fuentes. Vote Democrat now. Yeah, I don't think so. Will Chamberlain has a different point here. Same clip, or at least part of it. Let's see, is this the exact same clip? Hang on, let's play it because they're different lengths.
The IDF is the worst terrorist organization in the region. Let's get real. The United States of America is arguably the worst terrorist organization in the world. If you want to look over the last 25 years, how many innocent civilians we've slaughtered. You're getting us into the neocon. Yeah, that's right. You're getting us into the neocon 7th war, which they've been dying for the last 25 years.
You might want to take down, by the way.
No, actually, if you love this country, if you're a real patriot, you'd have to hate this government.
You said America
and the
killed
war
like
policies
the worst terrorists in the
that are
world,
destroying
more than Iran,
them.
dude.
Yeah. DC killed a lot more people. The IDF is the worst terrorist organization in the region. Let's get real. The United States of America is arguably the worst terrorist organization in the world.
Steve Guest calls on the alleged comet Dave Smith. IDF worst. Will Chamberlain says, remember when I said Dave Smith's arguments are indistinguishable from Antifa's? Here he is calling the U.S. arguably the worst terrorist organization in the world. He's just a third worldist leftist who occasionally makes right-wing noises on immigration. What say you? This Iranian warship thought it was safe in international waters. It wasn't.
Waters. In the Indian Ocean. And we'll play it on the screen there. An American submarine sunk an Iranian warship that thought it was safe in international waters. Instead, it was sunk by a torpedo. Quiet death. The first sinking of an enemy ship by a torpedo since World War II. Like in that war, back when we were still the War Department, we are fighting to win. In the Indian Ocean. And we'll play it on the screen there.
All right. This is that same awful trial, that awful situation. All right. Let's talk about this. Texas AG Ken Paxton and Rhino Senator John Cornyn heading to a runoff election for the Republican Texas U.S. Senate primary, as neither of them have received 50% of the vote. President Trump must endorse Ken Paxton. Why is Texas putting rhinos in? Yeah, this was weird. John Stewart had something interesting to say.
It's also fired on Europe for the first time, aiming at Cyprus.
What? Cyprus? I don't even know where that is. Is Cyprus even on that risk board? I don't even think it's around there. So wait a minute, let me get this straight.
I've been meaning to play some Risk.
America and Israel attack Iran. And Iran's answer is to just f***ing attack everybody.
And that is kind of funny because when it happens, it's like, well, are they just lashing out at anyone and everyone, or are they shooting where other people are stationed?
You know, having been in a bar fight or two in my life, I'm pretty sure the...
Okay. Has Jon Stewart been in a bar fight or two in his life?
You know, having been in a bar fight or two in my life, I'm
seem
pretty sure
legit?
the worst thing you can do during a 2-on-1 beatdown is slap everyone else. Hey, not every part of me is getting punched. What are you doing? What are you doing? Hey, you!
It's also fired.
JD, for real, having been in a bar fight or two. Really, Margaret? Irish T says this is Jon Stewart level. Stupid. Megyn Kelly is... she has thoughts on the Iran situation.
Look, there are massive divisions over what we've done here, and people are going to change their minds over the coming days and weeks, one way or the other. But my own feeling is no one should have to die for a foreign country. I don't think those 4 service members died for the United States.
Well, why did the 1,000 Americans die at the hands of the butchers of Iran for the past 47 years? Either that happened or it didn't.
I think they died for Iran or for Israel. I think I understand how this helps Iran perfectly well. I get it. I mean, I hope. Long term, we'll see. But they seem rather jubilant. 80% of the country does not support the Ayatollah. He was a terrible, terrible man. No one's crying that he's dead. No normal person. But our government's job is not to look out for Iran or for Israel. It's to look out for us. And this feels very much to me like it is clearly Israel's war. Mark Levin wanted it. It's his war. Ben Shapiro, Lindsey Graham, Miriam Adelson. That's obvious. They're the ones who've been pushing us into this.
Yeah, Adam Johnson says, does Jon Stewart think the U.S. launched its missiles into Iran from space? Because they probably shot at where we were shooting from, which means it was a lot of different places. And that's how you could easily end up in a situation where Iran is shooting so many places. Broward County Transit purchased 42 electric buses from a California-based manufacturer for $54 million. Jeez. The electric buses don't work. They broke down every 600 miles and the company went bankrupt. So now these $54 million buses paid for by your taxes just sit here abandoned. That's great. So here's this whole article about how Kristi Noem says the Biden administration paid human traffickers to take custody of migrant children. Shameful. Let me see what the article. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem says President Joe Biden's administration was paying traffickers to take custody of unaccompanied alien children, UACs, who had crossed the southern border and needed to be resettled in the U.S. During a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing on Tuesday, Noem accused top officials in the Biden admin of aiding traffickers by handing over UACs to their custody and care. The one thing that has been challenging is that under the Biden admin, the government paid sponsors in the Department of Health and Human Services in order to host these children, and those sponsors, many times we found instances where they trafficked these children themselves, Noem said. So under that administration, we not only had children in this country that were part of a program, the government was paying individuals that were knowingly trafficking them and abusing them. That has stopped. We have gone through and found these children and put them back with their families when we have been able to do so. The remarks from Noem came after HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. last year accused the Biden administration of becoming the biggest facilitator for child abuse in American history with its UAC policies. My predecessor was deliberately employing a policy of speed over safety, so they waived all of the identification requirements for sponsors,
Kennedy told members of Congress. Sponsors were not required to show valid identification. They were never fingerprinted, so we don't know if there's a criminal record. There was no DNA testing, so claims that they were taking a family member were dubious. As Breitbart chronicled at the time, Biden's HHS Secretary Javier Becerra reportedly carried out a policy that prioritized the release of UACs to adult sponsors over long-held protocols to protect such children from labor trafficking, sex trafficking, and child abuse. Many UACs, as a result of the policy, ended up in trafficking schemes and lost contact with HHS officials who were tasked with keeping in touch with them. Shame on the Biden administration and the Democrats. Marion says, go Paxton, go. Please Paxton, Lake Leon. He adds, Texas is ran by rhino establishment Bush boys. Yeah, those electric buses were electric busts. Nice. Yeah, this gargoyle. 2 gargoyles here, Mayorkas. Oh, boy. Missy in SoCal says, Democrats are confused. Biden lost 300,000 kids at the border? You couldn't tell a vegetable from a piece of pizza if his life depended on it. You couldn't pay him to keep track of his own schedule or go through an entire day without 3 naps. You wonder why Democrats are so confused? That's a woman. That's mostly peaceful. That's Native American. That's an expert. That's oppressed. That's a hero. That's the smartest guy I know, and that's a president. I guess Kristi Noem in her own words.
The one thing that has been challenging is that under the Biden administration, the government paid sponsors in HHS in order to host these children. And those sponsors, many times, we found instances where they trafficked these children themselves. So under that administration, we not only had children that were in this country as a part of a program, the government was paying individuals that were knowingly trafficking them and abusing them. That has stopped. We have gone through and found these children and put them back with their families when we have the opportunity to do so, and with loved ones that will care for them. And I would say that even in one case, we have other countries where we've been working with them to get their children back home, where we've been prevented returning these families back and helping them to be reunified by activist judges. But we will continue to work to ensure that these individuals and these children that were abused by the trafficking over the border have the opportunity to be brought back to their families and to their loved ones going forward.
Well, thanks for helping. Yeah. During Biden admin, 450,000 children were either lost or placed with unvetted sponsors. What's this guy's name? The Texas guy, this liar in Tallarico. Z Van Fleet says, watch history repeat itself. Decades ago, the CCP told poor Chinese peasants the same story. They were poor because landlords were rich and promised free land to every one of them. Fast forward today, all the land now belongs to the state, and the CCP elites control trillions of dollars in wealth. Lily Tang Williams says, very sad to see what we heard growing up in communist China is repeating here in our beloved new country. Don't buy these politicians' talking points of taxing the rich. They always sell you envy and hate to get votes. Listen to this Texas Tallarico clown.
The reason poverty exists in the wealthiest country on earth is not because we can't feed the poor. It's because we can't satisfy the rich. But what we can do is tax trillionaires out of existence. And use that money to guarantee food, healthcare, and housing for every single American. The reason poverty exists in the wealth.
Politics of envy and greed. That is what the Democrats are all about.
Rich Barris says John Cornyn is a neocon dinosaur. Cost him $100 million to tie Ken Paxton, who spent about $4.5 million. That should tell you everything about the wisdom of the current path that the administration is on. Leo the Lion says rhinos are sabotaging Trump in the America First movement. No recess appointments. No Save America Act passed. Thune is doing exactly what he's being told to do. The Rhino Removal Project is the most important political organization existing today. Change must happen before the midterms get here. Children in Europe are mandating students to go to mosques to be indoctrinated about Islam. Nope, never. I'm good. Well, hold on. Do you mean to tell me that this didn't win an election? Is this a skit? This is cringe. Oh, it's so cringe. Oh, it's so cringe. How did this person end up in... You mean to tell me this person didn't win Senate primaries? Yeah. Goodbye, Jasmine Crockett. Democrat operatives tried to silence the voters of Staten Island and Brooklyn and rig our district map so only a Democrat could win. The U.S. Supreme Court stepped in to stop this unconstitutional gerrymander, and now the voters will decide who will represent them, as it should be. Good. SIFF reports female privilege here. Telegraph story says Oxford student too bright for prison is spared jail for stabbing her boyfriend. Yeah, that's female privilege. You stab your boyfriend. That's not good. Birmingham, UK, this lady says, we found books in the library which said men can beat their wives. Chief Inspector Ofsted Amanda Spielman. Nope, that's not good. Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney says the United States and Israel have acted without engaging the United Nations or consulting allies, including Canada. Canada also, America is no longer a reliable ally. We reaffirm our strategic partnership with China. Also Canada, why didn't America share its secret military plans with us? Huh, I wonder. Science Girl shares this 2012 surveillance demo resurfacing and showing how easy intelligence agencies can track a single car in real time. Everywhere and anywhere. Democrat who just won their primary was a gay preacher who literally called Jesus non-binary and wants our southern border wide open like a welcome mat. Is that all true? This false prophet twists scripture to push radical open borders insanity. When the Republican nominee exposes him for the fraud he is, Texas voters will send him packing. Scarier than any other Democrat candidate out there, Texas ain't buying this woke blasphemy. James Tallarico. Alan says, there are Americans right now screaming, why are we in Iran? This isn't our fight. Let's slow that down. While you're at home arguing online, while you're building your business, your kids are asleep in a safe suburb, there are 18 to 22-year-old Americans standing watch in places most people can't point to on a map. Not for Israel, not for some abstract ideology, but for American leverage. The United States Department of War doesn't maintain roughly 750 to 800 bases in 80-plus countries because it's bored. That network exists because global dominance isn't a slogan, it's infrastructure. Japan, Germany, South Korea, the Middle East, the Pacific, Europe. The U.S. currently has 170,000 to 180,000 active duty personnel overseas. In the Middle East alone, 40 to 60,000 troops. That's not charity, that's positioning. Look at the map. Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, 10,000 troops. Camp Arifjan in Kuwait, logistics backbone. United States 5th Fleet headquartered in Bahrain, guarding maritime arteries. Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia, Ain al-Assad Air Base in Iraq. Why? Because oil still moves through the Strait of Hormuz, because supply chains still cross hostile waters, because adversaries still calculate power based on proximity and readiness. You enjoy low fuel volatility, stable trade, a dollar that still dominates global settlement. That doesn't happen because the world is nice. It happens because America is present. If the U.S. pulls back from global dominance,
Here's what fills the vacuum. China expands naval control in the Pacific and beyond. Russia pushes harder into Europe and energy markets. Iran leverages proxies and choke points without restraint. Superpowers don't get to be isolationist. Empires will retreat. Empires that retreat don't stay wealthy, they decline. You can dislike war, good, so should everyone. But pretending that disengagement equals peace is naive. Peace through abstinence, or rather peace through absence, has never worked in human history. Deterrence works, presence works, positioning works. When carrier strike groups move into the region, they aren't there for theatrics. They are there to prevent miscalculation. Each carrier group carries 5,000 to 6,000 personnel. That's not symbolism, that's leverage. And here's the uncomfortable truth. If America stops protecting sea lanes, energy corridors, and alliance structures, your cost of living spikes, markets destabilize, allies hedge, enemies test boundaries, and suddenly the conflict you wanted to avoid shows up closer to home. You don't have to cheer military action, but at least understand this. The comfort you're enjoying was bought and is maintained by forward positioning, by deterrence, by young Americans standing in places you'd never volunteer to go. This isn't about Israel. It's about whether the United States remains the global superpower or becomes just another large country reacting to stronger ones. Power vacuums don't stay empty, they get filled. The only real question is, do you want America filling that space or someone else? At least understand the bigger picture before spewing nonsense. Like it or hate it, I mean, that feels like a pretty fair reply. I'm wondering, can I share this? How do I do this? I guess copy link. All right. I'm going to copy. I'm going to send this to Pierce Morgan again. All right. Let's get back to it. Do it to it. Oh, I got to put it back on over here. There we go. Let's see. Oh, I'm back in this. I need to be here. Okay. Jasmine Crockett is claiming there was malfeasance in the election. Shocking. I thought she said there's no such thing.
So that's my news, is that we're not going to have election results tonight, in my opinion, based upon what specifically is taking place in Dallas County. Unfortunately, this is what Republicans like to do. And so they specifically targeted Dallas County, and I think we all know why. So I want you to enjoy yourselves, but I won't be back tonight because I have no idea of when we're going to get results, and I fully anticipate it won't be until tomorrow. So I love y'all too. Thank you so very much for being here. Love you down. I love you down, Dallas.
Love you down? What does that mean? I've never heard I love you down. Apparently this mother has been charged with a criminal offense for silently praying near an abortion clinic. She didn't say her prayers out loud, merely bowed her head in silent prayer. Huh? That can't be true. Is this the quote where Jasmine Crockett blames? Here, let's listen.
So that's my news.
Or is that the same
Is
clip?
that we're not going to have election results tonight, in my opinion, based upon what specifically is taking place in Dallas County. Unfortunately.
All right, same clip. I guess she's just blaming Dallas County, meaning she thinks there's corruption there. Flashback 11 years ago, then Senator Marco Rubio stood on principle and voted against the disastrous Obama-Iran nuclear deal. He warned it would fund terror, empower the mullahs, and put America at risk, and history proved him right. Watch this. America is blessed with leaders who have foresight like this. Believe it for the Republic. Here's Marco Rubio. It's worth watching, looking back now.
Detail. Mr. President, I'll be brief. I know the senator from Tennessee would like to close on this matter. I think everything that needs to be said about the details of this deal have already been said. I do want to be recorded for history's purposes before I know what was going to happen in regards to this if it goes through. Iran will immediately use the money that it's receiving in sanctions relief to begin to build up its conventional capabilities. It will establish the most dominant military power in the region outside of the United States, and it will raise the price of us operating in the region. They're going to build anti-access capabilities, rockets capable of destroying our aircraft carriers and ships, continue to build these swift boats that are able to come on us, these fast boats that are able to swarm our naval assets. And they'll make it harder and harder for U.S. troops to be in the region. They'll also work with other terrorist groups in the region to target American servicemen and women. And they may or may not deny that they're involved, but they will target us and raise the price of our presence in the Middle East until they hope to completely pull us out of that region. They'll also continue to build long-range missiles, missiles capable of reaching the United States. Those are not affected by this deal, and they'll continue to build them as they've been doing. And then at some point in the near future, when the time is right, they will build a nuclear weapon. And they will do so because at that point they will know that they have become immune, that we will no longer be able to strike their nuclear program because the price of doing so will be too high. This is not just a work of imagination. It exists in the world today. It's called North Korea, where a lunatic possesses dozens of nuclear weapons and a long-range rocket that can already reach the United States. And we cannot do anything about it. An attack on North Korea today would result in an attack on Tokyo, or Seoul, or Guam, or Hawaii, or California. And so the world must now live with a lunatic in possession of nuclear weapons. And this is the goal Iran has as well, to reach a point where they become immune to any sort of credible military threat because the price of a military strike would be too high. And then they become an established nuclear weapons power. And never in the history of the world has such a regime ever possessed weapons so capable of destruction. Iran is led by a supreme leader who is a radical Shia cleric with an apocalyptic vision of the future. He is not a traditional geopolitical actor who makes decisions on the basis of borders or simply history or because of ambitions. He has an religious apocalyptic vision of the future, one that calls for triggering a conflict between the non-Muslim world and the Muslim world, one that he feels especially obligated to trigger. And he's going to possess nuclear weapons. This is the world that we are on the verge of leaving our children to inherit. And perhaps we ourselves will have to share in it. And so I want to be recorded for history's purposes, if nothing else, to say that those of us who opposed this deal understood where it would lead. And we are making a terrible mistake. And I fear that a passage of this deal will make it even harder for us to prevent it. And I hope...
There's Marco Rubio. He's been consistent. Carolyn Levitt talking about who should be in America and who should not.
President Trump has done more to crack down on illegal immigration and to strengthen our legal immigration system than any president in history. Several months ago, he announced a travel ban on 19 third world and failed state countries around the world. Secretary Noem announced tonight she's recommending that travel ban widens and covers more countries around the globe. Special immigrant visas, which we know many Afghans have used to come into our country. There has been a complete suspension in pause on all of those. If you look at the entire visa process in general, we have greatly strengthened and heightened the vetting process and requirements for that under Secretary Rubio's leadership at the State Department. And he has used his authority, which is unprecedented, to actually revoke the visas of many individuals who, yes, came here legally, but still pose a risk to our country and should have never been allowed in the first place. And I would just remind people around the world that coming to the United States of America is a privilege. It is not a right. And if you abuse that privilege, and if you don't align with the values of the United States, and you don't respect our country, our culture, our laws, and our people, you are not welcome here under the leadership of President Donald J. Trump.
It's a good reminder. Basil the Great reminds us why socialists despise Javier Milei. The state downsized 20%, state staff reduced 20%, senior state staff reduced 40%, and they saved $2 billion a year. No drop in quality of service. The economy is booming and capitalism is winning again. So 95% yes on Proposition 10, Texas should prohibit Sharia Islamic law. A massive roar against Islam's brutal supremacist system. No place in our Constitution, no parallel courts, no creeping takeover. Done. Your turnout made banning Sharia a national voting issue. No more ignoring mosques and foreign funding and care infiltration or Sharia enclaves. The fight continues. Codify the ban, scrutinize every dollar, dismantle MB fronts, enforce America first. Amy Meck says, thank you for fighting with me. I appreciate you so much. Dr. Eli David says, for 2 decades, Benjamin Netanyahu has been warning that the regime in Iran is the greatest threat to the entire Middle East and even to Europe. He's proven right. Who is Iran targeted with missiles and drones? Based off data from the Institute for National Security Studies. UAE targeted 863 times. Kuwait, 562. Easily the top 2. Then Qatar at 162. Bahrain, 129. Israel is 5th at 113. Then Jordan, Cyprus, Oman, and Saudi Arabia. Svetlana Lakova tells us that Obama lied and said that he learned Hillary was using a private, unsecured email for government business along with everyone else in 2015. But the truth is, he was communicating with Hillary via the server under a fake name for years. Cheryl Mills, Hillary's lawyer, wrote to John Podesta, Hillary's campaign manager, we need to clean this up. Cheryl Mills is currently representing the Clintons in the Epstein depositions. People are asking, what was Obama's pseudonym? We don't know. Obama withheld all his emails with Hillary via her insecure email server by invoking presidential privilege. An FBI interview with Hillary's top aide, now Alex Soros' wife, Yahuma Abedin, confirmed that Obama used a fake name, according to Svetlana Lakova. Iran's missile barrages are suddenly drying up, and the reason will shock you, says Bill Mitchell.
Missiles, the cruise missiles. I think that the U.S. and Israelis have been very effective in taking out the missile launchers and hunting down some of the mobile launchers. They still are able to get some of them off, but I think Israel has reported that that on Saturday 90 ballistic missiles were fired at it. Today, just 20. So it is going down, and I'm hearing from CENTCOM officials that in fact they're seeing fewer and fewer in these waves. But again, these drones are causing a lot of damage. They're the ones that have struck these hotels in Dubai and Bahrain and elsewhere, and they're going to be a problem for some time.
All right, thank you, Jennifer, and for your reporting.
Missiles, the cruise missiles.
All right. Yeah, John Thune's incompetent, intentionally sabotaging President Trump's MAGA agenda. Mid-December of 24, Thune vows to ram Trump's nominees through the Senate quickly so they can begin to implement Trump's agenda. In actuality, Thune and the Senate haven't confirmed a Trump nominee since August of 2025. Are you kidding? 6 months ago. Instead, Thune is using pro forma sessions, fake 2-minute meetings, preventing President Trump from making recess appointments. Dozens of critical appointees and judges are waiting in limbo after more than a year of Trump's presidency. Thune is basically working against President Trump and all of us MAGA supporters. That's insane. They say all you need is 5 GOP senators to demand a meeting, force a vote, and the majority elects a new leader. Get it done. Thune got an F Liberty score. Pretty clear rhino history. This is where we invite President Trump to join us on the TNAM Daily Show to help understand why your party is sabotaging you and the MAGA agenda. Take a look at that. I'm shooting my shot, as the kids say. Shooting my shot to try to get President Trump on the show. Tim Tebow wants to tell us just how bad things are, and I think we should listen.
Every one of those red dot maps is a unique IP address that is downloaded, shared, or distributing child rape images, almost all under the age of 12. And that's just a 6-month screenshot of it. And there are over 338,000 on there. There's blue dots on there. You can't really see them, but the blue ones are the ones that are under investigation.
In a sea of red.
Isn't that a problem of what we're talking about? Every one of them.
Yeah, it is. Tim Tebow speaks to the Senate Judiciary Committee yesterday, unloading a warhead of pure ice-cold truth that should make every single one of you feel the ground shake under your feet. 338,000 unique IP addresses in just 6 months, downloading and trading CSAM of kids under 12. Not maybe, not alleged, verified. Ugh. Please go get them. Israel has eliminated Ramin Muqaddam, according to Amit Siegel, head of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Special Operations Division and the man behind the assassination attempt on Trump on the eve of the 2024 presidential election. Trump was informed of this in the past few hours by Israel. Patty McMurray, Gateway Pundit contributor on Real America's Voice, says, this Freedom of Information Act request reveals Democrats are paying companies to provide voter registrations, and in the 2020 election, they were fake and covered up. Police investigated, found bags of prepaid voting cards, burner phones, iPads used for the operation, and it was all covered up. So take a look at that 6-minute report. Terror Alarm claims that Mossad hacked Tehran's hijab enforcement cameras to shadow Khomeini's security detail for years. The real plot twist, after eliminating Khomeini, they wiped the Morality Police's database full of data on Iranian women and girls. Akash Gupta says everyone's missing the real story here. Meta's Ray-Ban glasses need human data annotators to train the AI. When you say, hey, Meta, and ask the glasses to analyze something, that video gets sent to Meta's servers and then routed to Sama, a subcontractor in Nairobi, Kenya. Workers there manually label objects in your footage. They see everything you recorded, intentionally or not. They sold 7 million pairs in 2025. Every single pair generates training data that flows through human eyes in Kenya. Workers told Swedish journalists they see people undressing, using bathrooms, having sex, and accidentally filming bank card details. One worker said, we see everything, from living rooms to naked bodies. Meta's automatic face anonymization is supposed to protect people in the footage. Workers say it fails in certain lighting. Faces that should be blurred are sometimes fully visible. The person you recorded without knowing, a stranger in Nairobi can identify him. Buried in Meta's terms of service is one sentence doing enormous legal work. The company reserves the right to conduct manual human review of all your AI interactions. That's the legal cover for routing intimate footage from Western homes to $2 an hour labor force operating under non-disclosure agreements, office surveillance cameras, and a strict no questions policy. Workers say if you raise concerns about what you're seeing, you're fired. It's the same company, Sama, that Time exposed in 2023 for paying Kenyan workers $2 an hour to label graphic content for OpenAI while being billed at $12.50 an hour per worker. Workers described the experience as torture. Sama ended that contract, then pivoted to labeling Meta's glasses footage. Same workforce, same rates. Meta markets these glasses as designed with your privacy in mind. The privacy design is a tiny LED light on the frame that most people don't notice. The data pipeline behind it routes your bedroom footage to a contractor with a documented history of worker exploitation, failed anonymization, and union-busting lawsuits. In the next generation of these glasses, Meta's planning to add facial recognition. The same system that can't reliably blur faces in training data wants to start identifying them on purpose. The LED light on the frame is doing about as much for your privacy as the terms of service that nobody reads. Oh my God. Tommy Robinson says, here's an Imam Mohammed Ali Elani in Dearborn, Michigan, praising Ayatollah Khomeini. He would have loved to end his life this way. Being killed by the most wretched hand on earth is an honor. Nothing is greater than martyrdom. So how about we deport this guy? Kate says Ken Paxton in Texas would have won with Wesley Hunt's 141,000 votes. The GOP establishment uses this tactic to aid their rhino. They did what they do best. They asked a House representative to run, despite knowing that he didn't have the polling numbers to defeat Ken in the polls and that Ken would destroy Cornyn in the primary. Shame on Hunt. Just once, it would be nice for some of our Republicans to put country over self-interests. Shanaka says Iran built the most comprehensive civilian surveillance network in the Middle East. Cameras on every street, facial recognition at universities, license plate readers that automatically find women for removing their hijab in their own cars. A mobile app called Nazar that lets citizens report uncovered women. Drones at beaches, the infrastructure that killed Mahsa Amini in 2022 and crushed the woman life freedom uprising that followed. Israel hacked nearly all of it. According to Financial Times, citing two people familiar with the matter, nearly all of Tehran's traffic cameras have been compromised for years. Footage was encrypted and transmitted to servers in Tel Aviv and southern Israel. One camera near Pasteur Street proved especially valuable. It was angled in such a way that Israeli analysts could see whether members of Khamenei's security where they parked their personal cars. Through that single camera angle, Israeli intelligence built files on the bodyguards' home addresses, work schedules, commuting routes, and which senior officials they were assigned to protect. Unit 8200 used algorithms to process billions of data points into what intelligence officers call a pattern of life. A person familiar with the process described it as an assembly line with a single product. Targets. We knew Tehran like we know Jerusalem, an Israeli intelligence official told the Financial Times. And when you know a place as well as you know the street you grew up on, you notice a single thing that's out of place. On February 28th, when intelligence confirmed Khomeini would attend a morning meeting at his compound near Pasteur Street, the operation entered its final phase. Israel disrupted approximately 12 cellular antennas in the area, causing phones to appear busy when dialed. Khomeini's security detail could not receive warnings. Israeli aircraft fired 30 precision munitions. The strike was carried out in daylight for tactical surprise. Former Mossad official Sima Shine told the Financial Times that Israel's strategic focus on Iran dates to a 2001 directive from Prime Minister Ariel Sharon. 25 years of patient intelligence collection culminated in a single Saturday morning. Here's the part that should stay with you. The cameras Israel hacked were not military installations. They were the regime's domestic surveillance apparatus. The same cameras that tracked women who removed their hijab. The same system that sent automated text messages to women in Isfahan, accusing them of improper veiling. The same infrastructure the Guidance Patrol used to build digital dossiers on Iranian women and girls for the crime of showing their hair. Israel turned the tools of the morality police into the tools of the regime's destruction. There is a viral claim that after the assassination, Mossad wiped the morality police's databases on Iranian women. No tier 1, 2, or 3 source confirms this. It traces to a single unverified social media post. I will not present it as fact. But the verified reality is extraordinary enough. The regime built a surveillance state to control its own women. The Foreign Intelligence Service co-opted that state to kill the man who ordered it built. The cameras that watched women became the cameras that watched Khomeini die. That is poetic justice written in code. House Oversight Committee concludes Tim Walz's administration knew of fraud but failed to act. Well, that's one way to say it. Or yet another way to say it, he was an active participant. That's another way to say it. Ziegler says Thune is literally the only Senate Majority Leader in the entire U.S. history to hold pro forma sessions to stop the president of his own party from making recess appointments. You may think you hate him enough, but you don't. Concerned Citizen says Prince William and Princess Kate, dressed in a burqa, sit cross-legged at a mosque. The entire British royal family are seemingly obsessed with Islam. This quote by Tallarico, they're saying lacks context.
Our southern border should be like our front porch. There should be a giant welcome mat out front.
They're saying that's for legal immigrants and a lock on the door to stop illegal entry. Explicitly calls to stop illegal immigration and immediately deport anyone committing violent crimes. That's fair to add, though. Bill Clinton testified, and here's what Oversight Chairman James Comer had to say about it.
And what's next for this investigation? Who else will you be calling in for interviews?
Well, we announced 8 more people today will be coming in, including Leon Black, who was primarily the biggest money transfer to Jeffrey Epstein from the limited bank records that I've been able to obtain. Leon Black was a major funder of Jeffrey Epstein's personal wealth. So we're going to bring him in. There was a Wall Street Journal about Leon Black where several women had accused Leon Black of wrongdoing. Kathy Rumler was President Obama's general counsel, who later went on to Goldman Sachs. She communicated with Epstein all the way until the end. She was trying to defend him. Then people like Bill Gates, again, some of the most powerful people in the world who have been named in the Epstein files, we're going to bring them all in, and we're going to ask them questions, and I hope it's in a professional manner. I hope we can do it quickly, and I hope we can get the truth to the American people and hold anyone accountable that we find committed crimes.
All right. Yeah, David says, why not have these cameras at voting stations? Exactly. Seems like that would be obvious. It's obvious to me, at least. Call me crazy. Okay, crazy. Dan Crenshaw sent home from D.C. Oh, Bill Malugin corners Hakeem Jeffries with a simple question. This is a good one.
Thank you, Leader Jeffries. Back in 2011, Nancy Pelosi said that then President Obama didn't need congressional approval to bomb Libya. Now House Democrats say President Trump needs that approval to bomb Iran. What's the difference?
Well, obviously, Libya and the circumstances connected to that were very different than the circumstance that we face in Iran right now. I mean, I don't even understand the genesis or basis of that question, not suggesting that you're not asking it in good faith.
Libya went on for 7 months.
As I've indicated, first of all, I was not in Congress at the time. So we're dealing with what we're dealing with right now, which is a catastrophic, endless war, as Donald Trump has characterized it, without any justification that there was going to be a preeminent assault or attack on the United States of America, either in our homeland or as it relates to our interests in the Middle East. The administration is not even pretending like they have intelligence or information at this point, publicly. And certainly there's been nothing that has been presented to us privately to justify a preemptive strike of this nature that has triggered an all-out war in the Middle East. And by the way, Donald Trump is the one who said in the aftermath of the 12-day war that Iran's nuclear program has been completely and totally obliterated. Not my words, his words. So was he lying to the American people then, or is he lying now?
So, Madam Speaker, or Madam Leader, you're saying that the president did not need authorization initially and still does not need any authorization from Congress on Libya?
Yes.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you all very much.
Okay.
There you have it. Scott Jennings calls out James Tallarico for running a hoax to propel him past ghetto trash Jasmine Crockett, says Gunther Eagleman.
By the whole thing with Stephen Colbert. That was a big rocket for him. He had to be a real news nerd to know who he was before then. But that moment where, suddenly, Stephen Colbert, who's obviously a legend among Democrats, says, hey, this kid, Trump and these guys don't want to hear from. I'm going to let you hear from him now. That's when he really, he got $2.5 million, I think, the next day. And it put him on the map. You could see it kind of irritated Jasmine Crockett a little bit that he was getting all this attention. Because up until then, she was very far ahead. If, in fact, he closes, probably that's the day that started.
Yeah,
You think that's...
I definitely think it was true. Like you said, we obviously knew Tallarico. We were covering him, looking at, the kind of personality he was, but it was completely different after that.
Pay for that level.
You can't, which is ironic because it was Jasmine Crockett who before was getting all the sort of, earned media online.
Scott, you look skeptical.
Look, let's just admit it was an op, right? Trump had nothing to do with it. It was CBS's lawyers that had raised internal issues about it. It was a total sort of a hoax about how they positioned it. But I tend to agree.
Details.
I know. I'm glad that's what you think. But I tend to agree.
So now we're going to hear about Tallarico for a while. More SAVE Act, John Thune not doing anything. The protester that protested the death of 2 protesters are now protesting the death of a guy who killed 30,000 protesters. You can't make this up. That's wild. So the it's it's fun to read this stuff out loud. Because it gets very impossible to make sense of. So the protesters that protested the death of 2 protesters are now protesting the death of the guy who killed 30,000 protesters. All right. They're saying white supremacy won tonight. Jasmine Crockett has lost. Democrats just silenced a black woman. You use their words against them. You use their silly arguments against them. Everything's an outrage. All right. That's the extent of what I want. Oh, I guess I didn't really get into much of Eyepatch McCain. Let me make sure I just touch on Eyepatch McCain. I thought I got into a little bit more of that. Dan Crenshaw, also known as Eyepatch McCain, loses his seat in Texas to Steve Toth. Crenshaw has been in a nonstop spiral for the past year, threatening Tucker Carlson and even being banned from congressional trips for a period due to allegedly drunkenly harassing foreign counterparts.
Have you ever met Tucker?
We've talked a lot. If I ever meet him, I'll finally kill him. He's the worst person.
If I ever meet him, I'll effing kill him, he says. Okay. I think that... Oh, voting for Democrats was open in Dallas until 9 p.m., but Republicans, it's only 7 p.m. I wonder what that's all about. Liberta says, what was so wrong with this that it needed to be completely destroyed and turned into the mess that we have today? A father coming home from work in the 50s, 60s to 2 children running out, happy to see him. The wife's at home. Dan Crenshaw loses. And that's what I wanted to share with you today. Thank you all for watching. Yeah, the Democrats are a dead entity. Just a terrible organization. Like Leon says, Comer says nothing. This is nothing but a dog and pony show, wasting time and tax dollars. Nothing will happen. Well, step one, you got to get him on the record. Step two, maybe there's a step two. I don't know. But you got to start with step one either way. Fingers crossed, cautiously optimistic. So with that, I will bid you adieu. Please keep in mind that you can subscribe to The New American Media on Patreon, Rumble, and YouTube. You can also drop us Rumble rant tips and Super Chat tips. We appreciate that. We're on Venmo and Cash App at my name, Brian Engelman, and then on PayPal at fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com. Thank you so very much. Question here. Have you been watching for a while? Miraculous Botanical. I know that's not what it says, but that's how my brain sees it when I scroll it. So, Brian, did you know you were voting for the blowback terror attacks that are coming? Dead Americans. Well, Iran has killed 1,000 Americans since they seized control and turned Iran into a hellscape 47 years ago. 1,000. And that's at a minimum. One of the most destabilizing, violent, murderous, thuggish regimes on planet Earth is gone, along with Maduro and along with the narco-terrorist in Mexico. Is there blowback by taking out 3 people that are really atrocious for humanity? Dr. Ron Paul talked about it. I'm very sympathetic to, what would you call it? Non-interventionalism, America first, America only. If you're just now getting here, I did discuss this in sort of great detail earlier in the program. Botanical says, so the answer is yes, I'll never vote again. Well, Nick Fuentes says, vote Democrat. As if that would be better. I read the proverb yesterday, and I'll end with this, Nick. I'll tell you this. Now, this is Nick, Miraculous Botanical. Miraculous Botanical, exactly. But the Chinese proverb, one day the farmer's horse runs off and the neighbors come over and say, oh, that's such terrible news. I'm so sorry to hear that. It's got to be devastating to your farm operation here. And he says, maybe so, maybe not. That same horse returns a couple days later and brings several other wild horses with it that he puts in the cage and now, or in the pen, in the fencing. And now he's got all these extra horses for nothing. Like he just added 5-10 extra horses. The neighbor's like, oh my gosh, can you believe your great luck, your great fortune? That is such great news for you. And he says, maybe so, maybe not. The farmer's son is riding one of these wild horses, trying to tame it and break it, train it, and it bucks him off and it breaks his leg. The neighbors come by and they say, I can't believe that new horse. It's just, what a shame, what a disaster. I can't believe that your son is, I mean, he's out of commission for many months, and we hope it heals well and that he doesn't have some sort of complication. This is just terrible news. We're so sorry. And the farmer says, maybe so, maybe not. Then the army comes around through the village, conscripting young men to go fight in their army in a battle where everybody is eventually butchered. But that young man is spared because he's lame. He has a broken leg. And the townspeople say, oh, that's so fortunate. That broken leg saved him from that event. And he says, maybe so, maybe not. I know this Ayatollah was a piece of shit. A demon, if you will. And I will. I certainly don't want to be involved in any forever war. If you're going to do something, you do it strong and you finish and you move. I feel like that is the signature of President Trump and Pistol Pete Hegseth. Have an operation, strike with, what is it called? Fury, endless fury, something fury. I haven't memorized all these terms yet, but maybe so, maybe not. Maybe there will be attacks coming. Maybe so, maybe not. Will there be blowback? I mean, they started their proxies in Hamas started that war 2-3 years ago. That whole thing, like, oh, it's just the Jews, who cares? Oh, the Jews are behind everything. Oh, it's always the Jews. Okay, I'm not saying you say that, but some people say that. There were 46 Americans that got butchered from that Iranian attack 2.5 years ago. 46 Americans. I don't think you get to kill 46 Americans and get away with it. So was this totally random, totally unprovoked, totally unnecessary? Maybe so, maybe not. But they have killed 1,000 Americans since they overthrew that nation that used to be a pretty good place. On Sunday, I did that special show with Mahmoud Ghaffari, who was born in Iran. He left at 18, came to Los Angeles. That's where I met him. And he and the people he know, they've been carrying that vendetta, waiting to get payback and overthrow this. He kept calling them demons, this demonic regime. Could not be any more appreciative of President Trump and the United States. He is the definition of a grateful foreigner. He says, if you're a foreigner going into trying to get become legal or become a citizen in another nation, you shouldn't have an opinion on what they're doing. You should be thankful and grateful. That's it. Just be thankful and grateful. And he is so appreciative that Ayatollah that has just been an absolute butcher for so many years with impunity, that he's gone. You can go back and watch the replay of that. You know, I one of the first questions I asked was, you know, there's concern that President Trump is just marching to the fiddle of Bibi Netanyahu, that it's Israel's war and we're getting dragged into it. You know, it's like your brother gets into a fight, now you got to fight. And you're like, God damn it, I didn't want to do this. It's not my battle. It's none of my business. And there you are swinging, and you're getting hurt. I mean, several American servicemen and women have been killed, unfortunately. But check out that show too. That was on Sunday, and he could not be any more appreciative of deleting that demon from that region. And that's going to save countless lives, because they were exporting Hamas and Hezbollah and all these terror cells, not just to go after Israel, because, you know, if you don't care about Israel and you definitely think they're behind everything wrong on planet Earth, let them go from the river to the sea. Hate them. It's not like they were only harming them. 46 Americans were killed in that attack. So, you know, you kill 46 Americans, I think you should expect a retribution. I don't think we should be going around killing 46 people in other countries either. But the people of Iran and the people I know, they are absolutely thrilled. The story of the person whose parent was in their military, had to steal one of their conveyances. I'll leave it at that. One of their military transport vehicles, maybe aerial, definitely aerial, stole it and escaped and found some neutral nation and claimed some sort of asylum status. Ended up in America. Hates that whole region, hates that whole Ayatollah influence, that murderous regime. The world's a better place that Maduro isn't destroying Venezuela, that the narco-terrorists, I forget the dude's name in Mexico, isn't destroying with all that narco-terrorism in Mexico. And now that the Ayatollah Khomeini is gone, people are rejoicing. It's not our job to do all that, but if not us, who? If not now, when? Here am I, send me. That's a line in the Bible that Charlie Kirk quoted all the time. And Charlie Kirk often warned, don't get involved in Iran and don't do this. And so we'll see. Maybe so, maybe not. Maybe things are going to go to shit. Maybe it'll be done quick and it'll be prosperous. And Reza Pahlavi, the family that was ousted when the Islamic supremacist demonic regime took over, and I keep saying 47. Was it 47? I'll look it up later, but actually I got to look it up now just for posterity. What year Iran overthrow? So I'm sort of conflating it. I got 73 on the brain. Oh, I guess I do know this completely. I really screwed up because President 47 stopped 47 years of tyranny over there. It was 1979. 1979. I knew that. I really did get that number 47 from President Trump, number 45 and 47 stuck in the brain. But Pete Hegseth, Pistol Pete, he said it, you know, we want to learn from our mistakes in Iraq.
Like, we don't want forever wars. We don't want to be doing this stuff, this nation building. But Reza Pahlavi, there seems to be a lot of support that this could be a transitional figure to take over, reestablish some form of government that's not going to be this Islamic supremacist, murderous, thuggish regime, and move it into something different. Maybe so, maybe not. I don't know. I'm not giddy, but the more I learn about that guy, the less I like him. The more I learn about that regime, the less I like him. And the people that had to suffer through it, they're breathing a huge sigh of relief right now. So, maybe not. It is a nice proverb, man. Like, Nick, I don't know. I don't know. I hope. I'm hopeful. I'm cautiously optimistic. I hope. You know, you can listen to any libertarian that will, you should never do this, we should never do that. And it's like, that's great. And I get it. And I appreciate it. And I value that. And I agree with that to some degree all the time. Not to relitigate my whole beginning of the show, because I feel like I'm having part of the, I'm sort of replaying what I did in the first hour of the program. But Matt Walsh was like, it's fine if you're going to support this Iran thing, but don't act like this was a core MAGA tenant. Like, yeah, let's go get Iran. Trump was like, no, we're gonna stay out of. A lot of people say we should nation build. I don't think so. That's for losers. Stay away. Make America great again. And Matt Walsh is like, look, if you changed your mind on the issue, and I've been able to listen to the reasons and look at what's happening, and can I be convinced on it? Have I been? I see a lot of the good points that are being brought up, and I hope it's resolved quickly, efficiently, productively, and finally. I don't know if it will. Maybe so, maybe not. But Matt Walsh was like, don't pretend this was part of MAGA. So a lot of MAGA does feel betrayed right now. Will this be a terrible thing? Maybe so, maybe not. I certainly hope not. And I think there's a lot of strategy happening. You go around to these big blue American cities rounding up all the illegal aliens right off the bat because the terror cells are sitting there. You were asking about the terror attacks. Well, why do you think we went to D.C. first? At Los Angeles, Chicago, Minneapolis. These are the terror hubs where the Democrats have put more and more of their unvetted, military-age, sleeper cell, fighting-aged men from parts unknown with agendas unknown. Wouldn't that be one of the first places you would start cleaning up the mess? Absolutely. Then, when a lot of the terror cell networks are broken up and these people have been arrested and deported, then you go take care of Venezuela. We will see. We will see if Venezuela turns into finding out information about the 2020 rigged election. Some people say that there was voter fraud and software with voting systems and it's tied back to Maduro. We're going to find out, hopefully. Then the narco-terrorists down there in Mexico causing so many problems, human smuggling, drug smuggling, the fentanyl poisoning deaths. It's not just overdosing. Someone's reckless. You poison their supply and you kill them. That's not an overdose. That's a murder. The fewer of those people who are destroying that government, that's not our business. We got to be hands off. Like, we share a border with them. Like, you can say, I don't care what happens to my neighbor, but if you're in an apartment and you share a wall with your neighbor, the shit that they're doing, it kind of impacts you. And the globe is a big place, but it's not a big place. It's a very small place these days. So the bad neighbor on the block can ruin it for everyone. I've lived that in a big city, and it was bad. And you had to have a plan, you had to have a team, and you had to have some resolve and some balls to fight back. And I think we accomplished some amazing things in that previous scenario where I was. And I think we're already accomplishing some great things. Addition by subtraction. These three assholes are gone. That's good. By the way, Cuba, wouldn't an open, free Cuba be awesome compared to their socialist, what would you even call it, communist hellscape down there? I would love to go to Cuba. I think the people of Cuba would love to be Florida-ized. Man, we live in paradise. Can we turn it away from being a third world hellhole? I'll just end with this. Maybe so, maybe not. But President Trump has inherited a fucking mess. Where do you want to go back to? World War I, World War II, the Federal Reserve, the income tax, the ADL. You want to go back to 1973 coming off the gold standard. You want to go back to how far back? The deep state has put a lot of bad people in positions of power, in a lot of key strategic positions. Remember, President Trump also had to kick China the F out of Panama. We built the Panama Canal to help global trade. It's our blood and sweat and treasure that created that. One of the modern masterpieces of the last century, one of the modern wonders of the world, that engineering spectacle with the locks and floating water, and it lifts the boats and it moves some in, and you get all the shipping lanes open. Otherwise, you had to go all the way around the continent, making it way too expensive to make those goods usable. Wasn't it Jimmy Carter that gave that to China for some reason? Get the fuck out of here. It's not the Gulf of Mexico. It's the Gulf of America. No, you don't run the Panama Canal. It's our soldiers that dug these ditches. It was our engineering that created this. It was our service members who died of malaria. Fuck you. This is our side of the globe, and we're going to not let it be run by commies. You know, maybe that's a little bit too aggressive, but on the other hand, maybe it shouldn't have been set up that way in the first place. The Democrats ceding power, ceding control to the commies. Bay of Pigs right off the coast of Cuba. Well, if Cuba wasn't allowed to be taken over like that, maybe it wouldn't be the threat partnering with the Russian regime. This stuff is very complicated. It's scrambled eggs. And it's like a switchboard. If you see those old movies, black and white, where it's, calling for so-and-so? All right, see? And if they're at a switchboard, they're unplugging things, they're putting plugs back in, they're doing all this. There's a lot that needs to be unraveled with the old world order. Did you really just say you're in favor of the new world order? No. The new world order was the old world order that Trump is trying to reverse and fix. There's a lot, and it's a mess, and it's sticky, it's messy, it's frightening, it's challenging, it's daunting. But I see a guy that's trying. And I don't know how it's going to shake out. Will it be a disaster? Say it with me. Maybe so, maybe not. Maybe so, maybe not. Only time will tell. But each and every day we log in, we show up, we take a look at the stuff in the news, and we try to decipher it the best of our abilities. That's what we do here at the New American Media. And if you out there watching, appreciate that. Hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with a friend, and we'll plan on being back tomorrow at noon Eastern Time. Signing out on behalf of everybody out there in the TNAM universe, I appreciate you. I love you. And we will talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody. Peace.
Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.